Bienvenido, bonjour, guten Tag, good day, hello, everyone, welcome.
Sup, y'all. I'm stealing
Oh,
lefties.
Yeah,
yeah.
so I can't speak street, that's not allowed.
I,
But
yeah.
everyone, we have a little surprise because I don't know if Sal didn't hear it on Friday or they didn't say it on the stream. I didn't. I was back and rewatching some of it. They won't be going live till 10:30 Nevada time, so that'll be in roughly 90 minutes. So just to keep us entertained, we're gonna rewatch at least Deidre, the great friend who really knows all about the marriage. But before we do that, let's say hello to people. Oh, and Danny T just got caught up, so she can help us out with everything Deidre says. And Irish, hello. Excited is here. Yes, it is Liv. You can see me now. Hey, Tiri. Hola. And alibi stream. Yes, it's an alibi. Hello, Sea Swept. Yeah, I went there to go and find David. Well, you're just a picky girl. At least with 5 former wives, he has some experience. It has to count for something. Hey, Chris Mullen. Chris Mullen. Wendy H is here. Muffin Top.
Yes.
Good day. Melissa Simok. Hello, welcome. I haven't really seen your name before, but you're more than welcome. Hopefully, we can entertain you. Carlina Andrea is here. Welcome, welcome. Yamaha Biker, you just woke up. Well, I was cussing at you because you just woke up. You should be ready to go,
Yeah.
have your cup of coffee ready so you can sit here and wait with me for 90 minutes.
Yes.
And because we have learned we have multi-language people in our stream, so we have to cater to David.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, I can see why you do it.
That's why I'm sitting down now. Because I was standing, but I needed
When
to
you have
sit.
Jamie on, you have to take precautions. Hello, greedy bloke. Kim is here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or
Morning.
good noon. Oh, you can't say that in English.
I was about to say, I don't think you should say good nooner, but.
Well, you would say that in Danish.
Well, yeah, don't you say something like good mid morning?
We have a good morning, good mid morning, good noon, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So it's what's up, Rossman Ranch? Welcome, welcome. It's always a good nooner. Yeah. So it's a funny thing, the English language. Some of us can't speak it, but we still try. So, but that's not really important because all of you know that. Hi, Indigo. Dejligt at se dig. That my real language is Danish, and most of it Irish just translates for me. But Jamie, if you should round up what happened after I went to bed on Friday, it was a lot of gossip. It was a lot
Yes.
of a
Yes.
lot of. I felt that I thought that I might have seen some signs. Deidre is a body language expert, I believe.
She's
She
also a mediator or something like that. So she was going to help her with her divorce and everything.
Deidre is a great friend.
She
She's the one who's the center of the spider web. She's the one who calls Nancy and said, "Oh, did you hear about Susan?" And then she called Susan and said, "Hey, did you hear Tina did this last week?" And then they're gonna call Margaret and said, "Tina and Susan are mad at you."
And she
And she
works
gets
at a
all the tea.
high-end retirement home, so they got like the gossip going on over there.
Oh, no. I'm sitting right next to her because she knows all the tea.
Yep.
Yeah, but you know, the second you get out of the chair, you're the victim of her next story.
Mhm.
I don't care. I am a hot mess. I know I'm a hot mess. I don't care what she says about me. I just want to know all the things about everyone else.
I know, right?
Hej Vejnersår, dejligt at se dig. Finally a Dane today. I'm
Uh,
missing Søren and Mads.
But there was
Where are they?
Deidre and there was, well, did you see the son-in-law too? I mean, he wasn't much, but it was
I
the same
didn't-
thing. Like even him, he was gossipy too.
But everyone in this trial is just, they thought that he might have done something, maybe.
Well, the
To be
son-in-law
fair,
was the
his
one to bring
hair.
up the fact that he had a girlfriend, but they all knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, Jonathan. Welcome, welcome. Oh, this one. I learned how to say hello to Baker in Danish, Iris. Almost right.
Is it right? No.
There should be cold showers before every stream.
What did she say?
Take the clothes off.
Oh, okay. That is a good hello. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Very good way to say hello to somebody.
Hello, Fed. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hey, Fed.
Oh, chatteurs. It sounds French, so it's fancy.
I thought he was saying charcuterie. I was like, I know a word too. I'm fancy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because he had the girlfriend all along, and
Yeah.
again, it's nothing new, and I'm just afraid that again, it's
Yeah.
always a crapshoot with the jury. Sometimes you hit a home run, and sometimes you hit a foul ball.
Mhm.
I use sport references because females know all the sports,
I do.
and I don't know baseball. but what I saw on Friday, and admittedly, the last part with Sal, I was jumping a bit and listening a bit and jumping a bit and listening because it wasn't really relevant. It was just I felt like I thought that maybe, and I got the sun in my eyes, and then he might murder her. It was just, but if it's a gossip jury, they might think, oh, that's right, or if it's just people who really stick to the facts, I would think Friday wasn't a good day for the state.
Yeah. I mean, in our world, because me and you would have been going crazy, Mo too. Because every time I was hearing something, I was like, what does this make? What does this matter? I don't know. I was just getting mad.
It just, yeah, it seems like more and more. I mean, if you go to Law and Crime, which I don't recommend unless you're highly, highly drunk or you'd like to fight. But I mean, if you go there or Crime Tube, you know that those innuendos mean something to people. They don't
Yeah, that's
understand.
facts. It's clearly facts. It's and you can judge a man by anything because you don't need to be able to prove it.
Mm-mm.
Deidre said it. It's facts. And hello, Nicholas. Yeah, it's been a sunny day here too. I fell asleep on my sunbed. That was probably not a good idea, but it happens. And it's the first day with decent sun we had for almost a month. So
You have a tanning bed, or are you talking like outside?
no, I go outside and lay in my yard. Oh, Wendy, what I do is a layman. A layman
Pictures or it
is
didn't happen.
Elected for
For you
4
girls in
years
the
at
chat.
the time. We do in my system we do cases that normally won't get more than 4 years in prison. 4 years and below is the cases I normally do. Fights, robberies, stuff like that. But we are elected for 4 years at a time. We have to apply, and then we are vetted by our local city council, and then we are sent to the government, the part of the government who handles cases, and then we are drawn by a random lottery, and if we are selected, we sit for the next 4 years, and then we have to reapply again for the next 4 years. I do what a jury do. I sit in the room, I listen to the evidence, I don't participate in anything. I can ask the judge if there was something I'd like to hear, but normally we don't do that. And then we are part of the deliberation as well with the judge. We are in my level, we are 2 laymen and 1 judge, and each of us has a vote, and the majority rules. So let's say we have this case here, then we would go into a room, the 3 of us, and then we will talk about it and say, okay, he's charged with count 1 is this. Did we find him guilty? Did they prove beyond a reasonable doubt he did this? And then we say yes, no, maybe, well, we could be looking at a lesser included or stuff like that. But we're through it all the way through. And then when we're done talking about if he's guilty or innocent, then we go to the sentencing part immediately, and we get and we have a discussion and say, well, normally for this kind of assault, you get 40 days in prison. But okay, the other guy had been an asshole, had punched him or something, and we said, well, maybe 30 days, or he was trying to get into a fight, so we give him 50 days or something like you. We can discuss it, but again, each and every one of us has the same power to put our opinions in the hat, and then the majority rules. So that's what I do. You could call it kind of professional jury member, but I'm not trained. We're not trained. I'm just a normal person, but we are elected for 4 years at the time, so we are not picked at random before. We are picked at random, but we're not just taken off a voter list or something. We have to apply to do the job, and we sit there for 4 years. And normally, you have between 3 and 5 cases a year, and it can be everything within the sentencing guidelines with a maximum of 4 to 5 years. So it can be simple violence, it can be SA, it can be something with children, it can be a lot of things. But that's what I do. I'm just a juror, but I'm elected for 4 years at the time, and we get paid a little bit more than American jurors do. So I hope she understood it, or else ask questions again. Sorry, Mo, I just talked over you.
No, you're fine. Gigi was in the chat earlier, T-Ree. I think her husband had full reign of the house while she was gone for a couple days, so she's re-straightening it since he was in charge.
Well, Bonnie, we have 3 different levels of court, and on the lower levels we are 2 laymen and 1 judge. If you go to the next level, they are 6 laymen and 3 judges. If you go and watch a great show on Mexican law show, me and David made a video about the differences, and we are not 100 people, we are 5.5 million people. I don't know, I missed something. Yeah, and everyone, remember, go and check out Fedorowski. He always have
Yes.
have the greatest videos. It's the relaxation videos when you have to sit in the chair and just close your eyes, or have something you just watch to take you away from everything. Go watch a Fedorowski video. Oh, and now I got way behind. Predator poachers on my TV. Okay, I never heard about that. Yeah, you're welcome. I hope she understand it, or you can always reach out to me. But it's a different system, but it works for us. And again, Danes come with a different view on the system than Americans does. So it would probably not work in America. Yeah, we are the greatest. We should rule Scandinavia. Yeah, great production videos. So, but let's jump to Nevada and see about this girl named Deidre. She seems like kind of a nice woman. And I have to press this one too. Oh,
Is anyone else just in awe when someone wears a white t-shirt and doesn't have anything on it? Because Lord knows I would not be able to wear a white shirt.
No.
My name is Deidre Marley Johnson.
hyphen.
Oh God.
Oh Lord Jesus.
DeidraMarley JOHNSON.
Thank you very much.
Hey, David.
Good afternoon, Deidre. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Do you know someone by the name?
Oh, sorry. I always do this. Oh, I'm just gonna take this off screen because David shows up and everything goes to Boomer Town. I'm not blaming gaming. I'm just saying it happens all the time. This one. What was I saying? What? Oh no, Twisted. This lady is not still up, but they are delayed. They're starting at 10:30 today, so I thought we could just rewatch Deidre because I have only seen clips of her, and I know Jamie really loves her explanation and thinks she's a really great witness.
Yeah. She drives me crazy.
You drive me crazy.
I love fine young cannibals, if I could say it straight.
No, I had to be in a suit and tie yesterday. It's always a problem with the white shirt. Iris, can you translate? Church lady, yeah. Mo, she seems kind of like one of your characters you play on your stream.
That is Mildred. That is Mildred to a T. We don't like her. We invite her because she brings snacks, but we don't like her.
No, I wasn't there a African American lady on the screen stand after. I believe there were. So, well, we don't know. Life choices, I believe. Hey, composer. Yeah, hyphen. You just know this lady. She's going to tell you exactly how to spell it, exactly how to pronounce everything. Yeah. Why this? Yeah. Oh, David is out sailing. It looks nice where the videos you made with your sailing from yesterday. But I started the pausing. I know you won't stick around if I don't pause every 5 seconds.
True. I mean, what would you have to complain about? Because we are awesome otherwise.
Exactly. Oh, thank you, Irish. Hey, the expert.
Oh my God.
Are you having a Mexican law show on tonight? Hey, T. That's what we call the buses in Copenhagen. Yeah, he has sailing videos. He says that's why he's living in Michigan. I liked him better with the ponytails. But enough talking, more Deidre. Oh, I have to turn on the sound.
LEY-JOHNSON.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Deidre. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
Do you know someone by the name of Sharon Randolph?
Yes, I do.
Do you
Yeah, there's
remember
a few new names here.
when you first met Sharon?
Yes, I do.
Tell us.
There is a senior living community named Las Ventanas, and it's on West Charleston and Town Center. Sharon was hired at Las Ventanas to work in the beauty shop as the hairdresser.
Why is she pronouncing Vantanas like that? Is that correct, Irish? That seems a little too overpronunciated for me.
Because she's affected and she's upper middle class. She's wearing pearls. We don't like her. That's why.
I don't know. You have to have him on the show to see if he has ponytails. Yeah, lifetime dictator of the HOA.
Yeah, she is.
I
the,
was hired.
I mean, she couldn't be more gossipy when she works in the beauty shop of the retirement home. My God.
Lord.
At Las Ventanas to work as the manicurist, and that is how I met Sharon.
Around what year did you start working at Las Ventanas?
It was as soon as it was built, and I would say that would be around the year 2000.
Okay. So you knew her for about 8 years up to the point of when she passed away.
Yes.
Do you know someone by the name of Thomas Randolph?
Yes.
Have you met Thomas Randolph before?
I have spoken to Thomas Randolph on the telephone.
Okay.
I have seen pictures of Thomas Randolph.
Okay. Do you see Thomas here in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Could you point out
He's
where
also
he
wearing
is
a
and
white
describe
shirt.
maybe an article of clothing that he's wearing?
Yes. He
Oddly,
is sitting
Out of that, she's only
At
talked
the
to him on the
desk.
phone.
with a white shirt on, white
White.
hair, and black headset.
Okay. Let the record reflect the witnesses identify the defendant.
White.
White.
At some point, do you learn that Sharon and the defendant are beginning to date?
Yes,
What's your understanding of exactly how they met?
on the internet.
So when you heard that, did you have some advice for Sharon?
I did.
Please tell us what your advice was.
I told her that I had bad feelings. I could not explain them,
Why though?
but I had very bad feelings and that she should not get
Okay.
involved.
She's a psychic
Does she listen
medium
to
on
your
the side.
advice at that time?
No, she
Dr.
did
G
not.
has nothing.
And was
on
this around the summer of 2005 ballpark?
I would say that's not right.
I want to know what she's basing this off of.
Does it come to your attention that there's a possibility that the defendant may move to Las Vegas?
Yes.
When you heard that information, did you have advice for Sharon?
Yes, I did.
Please tell this jury what advice you gave Sharon.
I advised Sharon that I thought it was a very bad idea to have Thomas Randolph move to Las Vegas.
And just to be clear, is this time period, is this within a relatively quick time period or long time period? This decision to maybe move in from Utah
Yeah.
to Las Vegas.
How
They
feelings are
had
put in
dated
as
for a while.
evidence. Yeah.
Thomas Randolph had come on weekends to visit,
Okay.
Exactly.
and
She's the one who's always bitching when someone
then
hooks up.
Sharon told me that he was going to move in.
Okay. And then that's when you gave the advice.
Yes.
And I can't remember if I asked you, but did she follow your advice?
No, she did not.
All right.
Why would she?
What do you remember
Yeah.
at the beginning of the relationship when you could
haven't
observe
said
and talk
why.
to Sharon? Like, how did she feel about dating Tom in the beginning?
Sharon was happy. She was excited. She had that new relationship glow. She was giddy.
Why are you mean to her?
Because
She
she
was
was
happy.
happy.
All right. Do you recall
Have
them
you met
doing
women?
things in the beginning of their relationship?
Yes,
What sort of things do you remember them doing kind of as a couple?
They would go out for dinner. I guess they would go out for dinner. I know that they would go back and forth to Utah to visit Mr. Randolph's parents.
Okay. Do you remember them ever taking trips to places like San Diego?
I do recall them taking a trip to San Diego.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
David,
Ultimately,
don't put that
do
thought in my
you
mind.
come to
We've
learn
seen
that there's a
pictures of these
possibility
people.
that the defendant may literally move into the house? Sharon's house.
Exactly.
Yes, he moved into her
Yes,
house.
Indigo.
Right.
She's
And did you
a
give
hitter.
her advice regarding that decision?
Yes, I did.
Of course, she gave her advice, and
And
this is the
ask for
correct.
it? Probably not.
She didn't ask for any advice. This lady came up to her and told her every single day, "I don't like your new boyfriend. Oh, he doesn't seem nice. I don't think you should move away. I think you should stay here with me. We have it nice here. This is
She
a
didn't want to lose her nail lady. Let's be honest. Let's be real, y'all. She didn't want to lose her nail lady. She's like,
Well, she was like immediately was like, "This is not a good idea." Like, based off of what? Because she met him on the internet. Probably because she thought she met him on the internet, and back then, older people like that were like, "Oh, that's weird." So probably
I don't know. Have you heard about the villages? Apparently, they're the
now it's not weird.
highest rate of STDs and rising cases in the villages.
Oh yeah.
which
Oh yeah.
yeah.
makes me
It
kinda
would be such
freak out
a
'cause
plot twist
some of my
if
family lives there.
Oh my god.
if Deidre had an affair. But again, she hadn't talked to him. She had only talked to him on the phone, and she still had a creepy idea about him. Yeah, she was just she was jealous.
Yeah, I needed more. Like, they never really got into like why she felt this way, and that drove me nuts.
And again, because she talked to him on the phone, and
Mhm.
and of course she met a new beau, and she was happy. And I bet this one she got angry that someone else got happy, but she would be
I'm
the one
telling
who rubbed
y'all.
it in.
She just didn't want to lose her nail lady. She's like, I got a lady who does good fill-ins. She does a good French manicure. I don't want her moving. I'm not going to train up a new one. I want her to stay. I'm going to break up any relationship. I'll find her a new man that lives here. She's like, what about Bill down the hall? She's like, I don't like Bill. No, but he's here. I don't think
Yeah.
you're understanding.
Yeah, but he's old. Yeah, but he's still here. And maybe you can inherit in 5 years.
And what was your advice to her at that point?
I told her that I thought it was a bad idea.
Bad
Right.
idea.
You mentioned that you worked with Sharon at the Las Ventanas Senior Living Center. Is that right?
Yes,
All right. And Sharon's the hairdresser and you're the manicurist.
yes,
All right. Is that like an assisted, is that like a retirement community?
yes. It's a high-end retirement community.
Okay. When you worked there, was there a receptionist at the hair salon?
No, there was not.
Was there a business phone though at that hair salon?
There was a business phone in the office. Yes.
Once Sharon started dating Tom, do you recall anything about that phone in the hair salon that stood out in your mind?
It was after Thomas Randolph had moved in. He would continually call. He called multiple times during the day to speak to Sharon.
So what?
I would answer the phone.
Because you didn't have a receptionist.
We did not have a receptionist.
On average, what are we talking about here? About how many
I
times a
love-
day?
A minimum of 15 times a day.
That's a bit much. Don't simp that hard.
Would you take the time to explain to the defendant that maybe Sharon's busy working and she can't come to the phone, things like that?
There were a few times when I would tell him that she was working.
Do you ever remember any other phones ringing?
Yes,
Okay, what phones would also ring?
her cell phone.
Okay. And then similar things would happen, just letting him know, hey, we can't talk, we're working.
Yes.
Based on your understanding, did Tom Randolph have a job that you were aware of?
No.
Well, he got that.
I want to ask you a
often his
little bit
wife
about
money.
Yeah.
Sharon's mood and demeanor as this relationship continues. You previously mentioned that she was giddy at the beginning, right?
Yes.
Do you start to see that change?
Yes, I did.
What do you start seeing? What are the differences you start to see in Sharon?
I started to see Sharon become unhappy. She wasn't giddy any longer.
No, because you kept
She was unhappy.
arguing
was-
that she shouldn't be with her man.
Trying to work, and he kept calling, and she would be frustrated, and she just wasn't happy.
At some point, do you learn of a potential decision about whether or not to marry Mr. Randolph?
Yes, I do.
Was there a potential?
Well, he had a like 600K from his second wife, who, yeah, she might have been helped off the planet by him. Maybe he's not convicted of that, but
And
there
he had-
may be some indication he helped her jump
I
off
mean,
the
who
planet.
among us hasn't lost a spouse once or twice?
well,
as
he
you
had
do.
by then it was what?
Watch your mouth. Don't say what you're thinking. Don't say what you're thinking. I haven't.
He has like lots of insurance money banked up.
Look, Deirdre has lost 4 or 5 spouses. That's why she has all the pearls.
Yeah, and again, it's back in 08. You still had to pay extra to call a cell phone back then.
That's
You
funny.
didn't have those plans where you could just call as you would with a
Have
normal phone.
limited
So
minutes.
yeah, so of course I would call the landline too. It was cheaper than calling a cell phone.
Well,
And
yeah,
and
I
again,
mean,
15 times, yeah, that's a bit excessive, but calling a couple of times, 5 times, and if you're just calling and say, I miss you, honey, she would probably like it.
Yeah,
maybe
and how many times was he hung up on? Maybe she hung up on him, so like he had to call back. I don't know, because I feel like Deidre's hanging up on him all the time too.
Deirdre probably heard him on the phone. Was like, eh.
Click.
Yeah, we will do cross because we still have more than an hour to go. So even though we are talky a bit, we will get there.
Maybe.
I've just been dying for you to see this.
Then it's true.
He
If
was driving-
Mr. Mo called me 5 times a day, I'd be like, "The hell is wrong with you? Are you kidnapped somewhere?" Like,
I won't name any names, but I am sure I get more than 5 texts some days. Or you can, what's it called now? It's not tweets anymore. Is it X, whatever
X's?
messages? Some days, Jamie and I, if there's something we have to discuss about a case, or we're just finding something funny, we can DM each other 10 times a day. Back in the day, you had to pay to text, so you would
I
call.
know. Having to explain to your parents, like, why are there 10 texts? What is this? What is this? You couldn't have called? And you're like, but mom, we were sorry.
No, it's not wrong. It's when you have a suite in the house, you have to check up on them.
Yeah.
Consequence that came with potentially not marrying Mr. Randolph.
Yes.
Okay.
He told her that if she did not marry him, he would leave her.
Do you give her a piece of advice?
I did.
She gave.
Did you
all the
recommend
pieces.
that she legally marry Mr. Randolph?
No. Well, I told her that she should go to Mexico with Mr. Randolph and had a mock wedding.
Okay.
That it would not be legal within the United States.
Okay. So that's the advice you gave her.
That is the
Great
advice I gave her.
Did you think it would be a good idea to legally marry Mr. Randolph?
No, I did not.
When the hell's idea was this is a good idea?
As the months continue, let me rephrase. Do you become aware of them maybe going off to Mexico to do this ceremony?
I knew that they had gone to Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think
Does
the defense don't
Sharon
care.
continue to work at Las Ventanas leading up to the point of when she passes away, or does that change?
Sharon worked at Las Ventanas for a considerable amount of time. She had had eye surgery also. And she said that her eye was bothering her, but she was under the constant pressure of Thomas Randolph calling her multiple times a day. and
Dave, how is
harassing
this
her.
not hearsay?
Okay.
The objection is harassing her.
That objection will be sustained.
They are on top of the rejections.
So ultimately, she leaves Las Ventanas. Is that right?
Yes.
Before she leaves, I want to focus on a specific event. Was there a time that she came into work that you noticed something on her body that gave you concern?
Because if I could just get a foundation.
If we could just
No. He just has the long hair in the picture.
He's just
But again, this woman, she spills all the tea, and if she had said, "I'm gonna leave him, I don't feel it's safe," oh honey, you will never find anyone like him again. He's such a nice guy. He calls you 15 times a day. He really loves you. It's you can't win with Deidre. She would be the one who's always making problems.
And why
Yeah,
is she
and-
the only one that knows that if you go to Mexico, that
She
no
she
one
probably
knows
has some
the way?
insurance money herself.
Well, but you don't like the guy, and she's like, no. If he wants to leave you, if he gives you an ultimatum, and she's like, okay, but what about you get the O'Douls of marriage? Like, who the hell does that? Like, look, I'm gonna fake marry you. Like,
Yeah, but I know that she. Oh, sorry.
You noticed something.
I know that you can bring in some testimony from the grave, but still, this is. Can she prove she ever had these conversations about this with the woman? It's I don't know. But again, I'm a layman. I'm not a lawyer yet. I'm pre-law at the Darrell Brooks Institute of Law and stuff. Mo and I will be graduating sometimes before Darrell Brooks get out of prison.
probably I mean, it's a slow process. I do have 6 children at home, but his books are rambling, and I have to take a lot of notes.
Yeah, it's gonna kind of annoying having to move the box fort every time we want to talk to him.
Yes.
Yeah, how many fake marriages can you have? It's
That is a question I need to know the answer to for other reasons.
exactly. She was the one who made her unhappy because she was nagging her all the time, talking bad mouthing her boyfriend. And again, if she had said, "Well, I'm thinking about leaving her," she would have just nagged her about that because she just wants the tea.
About her body that actually concerned you.
Yes.
All right. When around what year was that? Do you remember?
I would say it was probably it was after she had married Thomas Randolph.
Okay.
So true online.
2004,
When she got off the stand, she's calling her daughter.
2005, maybe.
Listen.
Okay. So it's pretty early on. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and let's just be clear. Do you, in terms of dates, because I know this is like 15 years ago, does her being married stand out in your mind as being, I saw it after she was married?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
You said 2000, and I'm just for clarity's sake, you said 2005, but you also said it was after she's married. And there's been some information that maybe the marriage doesn't actually happen in 2005. So the thing I'm trying to get out of you is the fact that she is married to Tom one of the things that you remember? Like, it's after her getting married to Tom that you noticed this?
Yes.
Okay, so if her marriage is, let's say, in 2007, it would be post 2007.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So she can't even remember
So-
when it happened, but she remembers every
So-
conversation they ever had.
What do you notice on Sharon that catches your eye?
I noticed her body language.
Nope.
I'm out.
I
done.
was watching this or me and Sal were watching this, and I was like, Baker would love this.
We're out. We're all out.
Mo would love
How?
it.
What the? Yeah, as Nicholas says, this is so leading. It's embarrassing. Yeah, they
I'm
have to
trying
drag
to
her.
get out of you, and then goes into it. Like, come on.
Okay,
They have to tell her what year.
body language.
They have to tell her what year they were married, and then she jumps right into the body language. Can we get Dr. G to certify her as a body language expert? We didn't have anybody on her expertise in body language. It's I'm not convinced she's an expert.
I mean, you can, if she was working, you could say, I noticed personally, but when you bring out body language, I'm out. Dead out. You could say personality wise, I noticed she became more withdrawn and everything else. But when she goes straight to body language and she can't remember dates, I'm like, and out. I mean,
Yeah, she can exactly remember the number of times he called each and every day, both on the landline, on the cell phone. She can remember how her mood changed in a few days, and every conversation. She can't really remember. She just there was only 2 years wrong with the marriage, but she is now a certified expert in body language. And
Be
before
fair, there is more, but that was the big one. I was like dying. Like,
yeah, but that's just stupid. You can't talk about before I forget it. Sal will be doing the afternoon. I have put the link in the top of the chat, so when we end the live feed, when it starts, that's not English. When they break for lunch, I will go off, and then Sal will pick it up when he gets home from work. And I have put the link in the top of the chat. Yeah. Oh, go to IKEA. Yeah. That's the worst 5 minutes you can spend.
yeah.
And that's when you're running through it.
yeah. Do not get sidetracked because I do. Don't get all the candles. Don't get all the cookies. Go in, have a mission, or get all the candles, get all the cookies, and take someone with you to be a guardian ad litem and get what you're supposed to get.
Yeah.
There
and
are
get
only
the
two ways to get
snurfle
through
and the
it.
gloikel. I like those two especially. The snurgle is really nice. I don't know why Swedish people call stuff what they call them.
I know. I have no idea. People like, yeah. I'm so confused. By the time
Yeah,
we
she
get to
noticed
the
her
end,
body language and then read her mind to see why she looked like she did. Yeah, it's amazing. and if I open my window, I can hear Nicholas have a aneurysm in Sweden.
Yes.
pretty much, I can hear me having an aneurysm right now.
The smell of burnt toast is getting thicker. Yeah, her horoscope. She just she did a tarot reading and it just seemed off. Hey, Moni G. Welcome. And Madita, you should be off work. It's almost 8 o'clock your time. Well, my gym buddy, she likes to go to IKEA with me and have her girlfriend with her. Not that kind of girlfriend, but her friend who's a girl. So my gray hair grows excessive doing those 5 hours it takes them to walk to an IKEA.
I've never been to an IKEA, so I feel like I've
You
dodged.
haven't been out your door. So of
I
course
know,
we haven't been to an IKEA.
Mr. Mo does not like me because Mr. Mo has a mission and Miss Mo likes to go in there and then she gets sidetracked with, oh my God, they have candles for $3. We need at least 800 of those. And oh my gosh, plastic containers that we're going to lose the lid for in like 5 minutes. Well, we need at least 15 of those and spoons. And did you see fabric? And he's like, we came in here for a certain thing. And I'm like, no, but did you see this thing? They have a thinger. And
I always
know.
put stuff in the app before I go there, and then I just walk through it. And when I had those two girls with them, I can just feel the ants. It's worse when Bunny has to watch one of my streams. It's can't be. Nope, we're going through it. But I have to know. You said you were going to look for this, for this, for this. This isn't the apartment, the compartment of the store where this is. Yeah, and you always come out with some chocolate, some meatballs, and $500 of stuff you didn't need. And Wolfram is here, and Aaron Hack is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jamie is too young to know of IKEA.
I guess so. I don't even know where there's one close to me. So that's probably why I've never been there.
Yeah, if you have,
Jamie furiously Googling IKEA now.
I know, I want to
Yeah.
see. You know?
we don't really do frozen yogurt in Denmark. So they try to do it and make it a thing just like fetch, but it didn't happen just like fetch.
She was moving
I
very
know.
slowly and sore. She was sore.
Okay. Did you see any bruises on her body?
Yes, I did.
Or
Do you
shit.
ask her,
How,
how did you get those?
Yes, I did.
And what did she say?
She said it was a boating accident.
Mm,
Okay. Who was on the boat?
Her and Tommy Randolph.
And what did she say happened?
She said that Tommy was driving the boat very fast across Lake Mead. And he made a sudden sharp U-turn. And she was standing in the boat.
I was thinking exactly the
fell.
same thing.
Okay. When you heard this, how did you feel when you heard this?
I was alarmed.
Do you say anything to Sharon after learning that?
Yes, I
When
did.
are
What
you
do
not
you
alarmed,
tell
man?
Sharon?
I said, Sharon, I think he's trying to kill you.
Do you give her any other additional advice?
Of course.
Yes, I did.
What other advice did you give her?
I said, whatever you do, do not accept any beverages or food from him.
Okay. What's
I
her
don't
response? What's her response to that advice? What does she say to you?
She looked at me and she seemed a little surprised. She said, do you really think he's trying to kill me?
And what did you respond with?
I said, yes.
I want
I
to
can
turn your
taste metal
attention
now.
to about
my
a
God.
week before Sharon passes away.
Yes.
Do you receive a phone call from someone?
Yes, I did.
And who do you receive
Oh,
a
we can
phone
get
call
free
from?
coffee. I
Sharon.
need to go to IKEA.
You've obviously talked to Sharon many times in your life. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Please describe for this jury, what did her voice sound like on the other end of that phone?
She was shaken. She sounded scared. And she sounded afraid.
Did you
Well-
believe that she was depressed at that point?
She was shaken,
Yes.
not stirred.
What?
What is she?
What the? Did you believe she was depressed at that point? She's not qualified as a mental health expert. Nicholas, do you want a link and come on and yell with me?
I am
I yelled, yeah, I'm so happy.
so why?
Why
I
are
know
this
she's a
allowed?
hairdresser, but
I don't
dear
know.
Lord,
I was asking the same thing.
y'all, that's it. I'm quitting Trial Watch. I'm becoming a hairdresser, and I'm convincing everyone that everyone they know is a serial killer. I have found my true calling in life. You have no idea the amount of damage I'm doing. And
Jeepers,
Lord.
mother. No, don't use those words. Yeah, let's get Nicholas on and have him have an
You have it
aneurysm live with us.
precisely an hour and 10 minutes before you can use those words.
I'm not monetized.
Oh, well, then you have precisely now.
I can have a meltdown right now. This is just stupid. Jamie, why didn't you tell me it was this bad? You told
Because
me.
I wanted you to see it so badly.
So
Because
Oh,
I thought I would just thought it was bad. I was like, I want someone else to hear this.
I
And-
am really confused. So he was driving like an idiot on a boat, and she got that to mean he was trying to kill her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Immediately went to don't eat or drink anything he gives you. Like,
I mean,
okay.
considering the way his hair looked, I wouldn't either. But that's because he can't cook. I would assume he couldn't cook anyway.
I guarantee he isn't cooking for her anyway. Yeah.
I mean, he probably opens up the Slim Jim and undoes the Mountain Dew. And yes, I am profiling.
And just to say, Melissa, this is the testimony she was allowed to put in because they had a hearing, and the judge said you can only ask her really specific things, or I will stop you, because they wanted to ask her even crazier stuff. It's she was going to talk about bruises that was clearly indicating attempted murder. No, it was she fell over on a boat. And again, she has no expertise in any of this. She can't prove she saw any marks on her. She doesn't know anything about her mental state. She can't even remember the year they were married. This is so amazingly bad. I really hope the jury is sitting like we are and just yanking their hair out.
Probably
Oof.
not. They're probably on
No,
all
they're-
on true crime. Like, this
Yeah.
hairdresser knows what she's talking about.
Like, oh my God, he did? Oh.
Body language. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Yeah, Mo is pre-cosmology.
Free cosmetology.
Cosmetology, yeah. Yeah, it's again, how do you jump from I fell on a boat because he was showing off doing a quick turn, as men will do. The worst thing about young men having cars today is you can't do a handbrake turn as you could in the olden days because they're all electronic today. Back in the days, you knew all the ladies loved when we did handbrake turns. They just didn't want to admit it. Hey, Nicholas.
Hey.
I love doing I loved riding around in a car with someone who's doing donuts. That was fun.
You're too young to remember handbrake turns.
Oh, I do. Okay. I'll take it.
What do you think about this testimony?
Yes, your thoughts, Nick.
You're just 54 minutes in, and
I'm not monetized. You can use the words.
okay, this bleached, overaged hairdresser, HOA, not president, treasurer.
Oh,
She doesn't want. Yeah, she doesn't want the. She always needs someone to blame, but she handles all the cash, so she can keep gossiping. There's not a syllable out of her mouth that is not hearsay. And just listening to her, I'm wondering if she drove her friend. You deserve better. You're blah 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 blah. That she drove her to cheating, and which resulted in. I would blame her.
Yeah, we did when we heard about her in the hearing. We talked about did she kill her because she got all the
Probably.
tea and composer see. Yeah, it would take her less time to bring up this trial in any conversation she has than it takes a vegan or a CrossFitter to mention they are vegan or do CrossFit.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
And also, a few questions. If I were the defense, I would simply ask, how many times have you gone over your testimony with the prosecution? Okay, that many times. So, did he have to remind you what you were supposed to say every time?
Also,
Ah.
ma'am, you're a hairdresser and your ends are fried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take hearsay for 500. But
What's
it's just,
the death rate at that elderly home she's visiting? I mean, the self-ending rate after you've been there for an hour must be. We might have a serial killer on our hands here.
Wait, no, she's the manicurist and the other chick was the hairdresser. So never
Yeah.
mind.
Mm.
Let's see your nails, ma'am, because your hair is a whole situation. You
It's
need to use a
My
blue-in
hair
shampoo.
have less split ends than her. I
it's
mean,
the Dr.
And I haven't
Kevorkian.
cut my hair in soon 4 years.
It's the Dr. Kevorkian beauty parlor. Jamie, you're too young to remember him.
I know who that is. He's from Michigan.
But let's see
Of course he
what
was from
else,
Michigan.
beside being a mental health care profession, a body language expert, and a psychic medium. Let's see what else this woman can do.
Oh,
What'd she say
Lord.
to you?
Judge objection.
Can we approach?
I've already decided this issue. She can answer the
Okay.
question.
What did she say to you?
Yeah, they had a pre-trial
She
hearing.
told me she needed to get a divorce.
Jesus Christ. And this.
And so how do you
is not
respond?
allowed?
Well,
I
how did she
happen
get a
to
divorce
be
on a fake Mexican
The
wedding?
vice president on the board of the mediators of Southern Nevada.
Ooh.
Of course you call
Of
them.
course,
Um,
she is a vice president of
Not
I said,
the
Southern
president,
okay,
not
Mediators.
the
Sharon.
vice
Yeah.
president.
Dr.
Yeah.
Kevorkian.
I
His
said,
penis.
I'll help you get a divorce.
All right. Did you
Yeah.
think it was going to be at this time? Did you think she
Do we
was
know if
legally
this
married?
broad is married?
I did not.
Sorry? What did you say, Nick?
Do we know if this broad is married?
No, I don't know.
Check
If
her
she
hands
is,
for widow 4 times over. Marries the people in the old folks' home and then nag them to death.
Very possible, but
Yeah.
that's not in evidence yet.
yeah,
I'm guessing 4.
she's been around the block.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because I had told her not to get legally married.
So you thought it was just the Mexico thing?
I thought it was just the mock wedding.
Okay. Did you say that to her? Something like, "Hey, that shouldn't be too difficult." I mean, you didn't.
So you've
technically
been
marry her,
nagging
something like
on
that.
her for
Yes, I did.
years.
Okay. Does she correct you and correct your misunderstanding at that point?
I had told Sharon, I says, well, it wouldn't be difficult
Hey,
to
Mim.
get divorced because you never married Tommy.
And then she says what?
And she said, yes, I did, Deidre. Talked me into getting married.
So do you start to give her
Wait.
advice at this point
Not
from
Deirdre.
what you could help her
Deirdre.
do legally to get a divorce?
Yes, I did.
So what sort of advice did you offer or help did you offer?
She had told me she had no money, that her money was gone, that they had gone through all of her money. And I said, okay. I said, that won't be a problem. I said, I do know attorneys. I know paralegals, or I will be glad to go down to the self-help center with you at Legal Aid, and we will draw
But you
up
didn't
divorce
yourself
papers.
offered up a dime, you cheap
Does
little.
she talk about the house at all?
I asked Sharon
It's 7
what
p.m.
she
here.
had Tommy's name on,
Okay. And what did she tell you?
and she told me that she had his name on the house, but she had taken it
I
off.
understand, unfortunately, I would object to this hearsay, just for the record.
Okay, just for the record, the court has previously ruled, then you can answer the question.
Go ahead. You can keep were you done? I don't know if you finished your answer.
How in the
She told me that she had his name on the house, but she took it off.
Okay. Understood. Does she mention life insurance during this conversation?
Yes.
What did she say about that?
I said, what else are you involved with as far as Tommy is concerned? And she said, he does have a life insurance policy on me.
When you heard that, did that,
Nick, you're not only you do labor law.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can my company take out a life insurance on a worker without having him sign it?
No.
No. How can this husband have life insurance on her? She must have signed on the dotted line.
I don't
did he
know
forge
American
her?
rules. If you're married, you can do it without the spouse's attesting, but I would assume that there was knowledge.
Yeah. You would have,
And yeah,
I would think. Right, David? Because, like, I can put beneficiaries on mine and take them off, but that I couldn't go just get somebody one without them knowing. So.
Well, you know.
So I can take a life insurance out on Jamie, and if she had an unfortunate boating accident when we did a U-turn, I could get paid. It seems kind of sus.
Yeah, because, like, I would have
Well,
to know about that.
if you're in a business together, then it's common to take life insurance out on each other because it would be considered like your business, especially if they're a co-owner. But I mean, this woman seems all the crazy with the high ponytail, so I don't know. I don't trust her to begin with, but
Yeah, but I get the business part that you can say, well, we have to make this. It's kind of like in Denmark, we say we get married so you don't have to make a life insurance if one of the partners should ever die. It's cheaper to just get married because then you have the kids fixed and everything, so nothing goes wrong. But again, you can just take out 1 million life insurances on your wife. That just seems like, yeah.
well, it could be that he forged her name. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's above, possibly lying.
Dave answered the question.
Murdoch didn't receive the insurance money. It was put into a fund that he was supposed to pay to the children of his housekeeper.
yeah.
That's way different.
And he didn't put out a life insurance on her. He put out, this was under his normal insurances.
Yeah, homeowner insurance. Yeah, and I think you need a medical examination if you want a life insurance. So yeah, again, she's an old one. Yeah. American is not easy speaking.
But to say it like that, like, he got an insurance policy out on me, like she didn't know, is
Yeah.
misleading.
Again, it's just this biatch has been. She has been waiting for this day since 2008 when they had the last case. Because now she's going back to the retirement home and telling all the same people again. It's yeah.
generate a reaction out of you? When you heard that, what were your feelings at that point?
I told Sharon, I said, Sharon, this is a red flag to me. I said, now I'm worried for you.
What did you ask her to do?
I asked her to come and stay with me.
Okay. What else did you tell her?
So you could
I
kill
told
her.
her that I was worried for her and that I wanted her to come and stay with me because I wanted her to be safe.
And how did she respond to that offer?
She said, I
I
know,
don't trust you
Deidre.
either.
And she sounded worried, but she said,
Because you're
I
putting it
want to be in
deeper.
my home.
She sounded
So
very
what do you say to her?
objection.
I
Yes, say.
said to Sharon, I said, I can't force you to come and stay with me. I
No, you
said,
can't force a
however,
woman
I
to
would
come.
like you to.
I know that.
I said, but please, whatever you do not accept any beverages, food, or turn your back on Tommy. I don't
Turn your
trust him.
back.
I'm worried for you.
I want to turn your attention to May 8th,
Better odds.
2008, just a week after this conversation. Were you planning that evening to make a phone call?
Yes.
Who were you
Not
planning
not
to
leading
call?
at all. Not leading at all.
I was planning to call Sharon.
Did you pick up the phone in one hand?
I had my phone in my hand
What did you have in your other hand?
to call Sharon.
What did you have in your other hand?
Oh my God, I hate this so much.
My other hand was the remote control to my television.
Which one did you decide to use first?
I clicked the television on.
She couldn't
first.
remember the year of
And
the
what did you see?
wedding.
I
but she
saw a
remembered
segment
this.
on the news
Clear as day.
And what was it about?
about a husband and wife coming home from dinner, and the handyman had invaded the house. The wife entered the house first.
Yeah, I believe
Handyman.
this is not news that she's getting it from. This
It's
is
so-
news, and so this is clearly hearsay.
It's
Just
all the
how she
hearsay.
learned of it.
It's easier saying this, Jeremy. That's
Okay.
another question.
Okay. Do you learn of Sharon, what happens to Sharon on May 8th, 2008?
Yes, she was murdered.
I understand.
Murdered.
I have no
No.
further questions for this witness.
She was murdered. She was murdered by the handyman.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that
You know they want to use that.
yeah, it's yeah. He was talking into the remote. Sharon, I can't hear you. Speak louder.
That's what I thought she was gonna say at first. Because the guy had to like stop her and be like, "What else did you have in your?"
Right.
I'm like, "Where are we going with this? Are you gonna tell me she used it to call Sharon?"
For the love of all that is holy. What is
Why does my
wrong?
phone change the television channel?
Oh,
Yeah, she's the one who stole the telephone from the exhibit 100. Again,
that explains many things.
how are they allowed to have this in the trial? She hasn't said anything of any substance other than her girlfriend met a guy. She was really happy about this guy. He seemed kind of a bit too much in love, called her too much. Then they had a little accident on a boat because he might have driven the boat a bit too hard.
You know how many times I fell on a boat? Nobody's trying to kill. Well, I hope nobody's trying to kill. Anyway,
Are you talking about rowboat, or are you talking about ferry?
pontoon boat and speedboat.
Pontoon boat, that's impressive, actually.
Yeah,
How much?
she
Okay,
just-
how much liquor was involved in both of those
Lots of
things? Because I know pontoon boats are just a vehicle to like carry all the booze to the middle of the lake,
Yeah.
and then you just drink.
But if you step in
So-
the wrong way, sometimes things happen.
But Chris, you have to remember she's psychic.
Yes.
So she could feel she needed to turn on the TV just before she called Sharon.
Well, what I've heard that her coworker told her, "I met a guy," and she immediately, "Oh, he's not good for you. Oh, he's
Yeah.
not. Leave him. Leave him. Leave him. He's not good for you. Leave him."
Oh, Lord.
And probably
That's
told
not-
him on many occasions, "You're a bad." I mean, she was the toxic, and yeah. But
Yeah, she's your
the little I've
frenemy.
heard, the little I've heard about this trial is that they more or less go after, look at how many times has he been married, and how many of them died, and the shell casings are in the wrong place.
Yeah, but that's the problem because this is a retrial. They got him the DP in the first case, but it was tossed because they used prior bad acts excessively. because they talked
Okay.
about the first. That's why the guy. I don't know if you saw this one on. I think this was last Tuesday. My new best friend.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody has.
So there.
Everybody has.
The judge is like, the hell did you just?
Yeah, I remember that one.
He's
Oh
not
my
allowed to testify in the case. He was.
He was just trying to bring
What?
truth and justice.
How is he not allowed to testify when this broad is?
Exactly.
He
I know.
he was actually truthful, probably.
Yeah, and the problem for the state was he couldn't remember anything. The defense, I didn't understand why the defense wanted him tossed because he couldn't remember anything. Yeah, he talked about offering some dark-haired woman, but he never met her. So I would have put him on just to hear
Yeah,
him
this again.
talk about the hoe-in-law. Oh,
I know. I mean, just for that, I think he should have been brought back on. I mean, come on, the best
yeah,
witness ever witnessed.
he should be brought on just for victim impact statement, just to lighten the mood.
Call
Oh
him
my
a
gosh,
chicken
yes.
shit. I love
Yeah,
when he
chicken
calls
shit.
it.
He was so great.
He was.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, yes.
but let's get to the cross examination so we are ready for when it goes. I know. I'm beginning again.
Good afternoon. You didn't like Thomas Randolph, fair to say.
I didn't like him
And you didn't like him from the very beginning. Is that a fair statement?
from the very beginning.
See?
You
She didn't even like him
have
before
told the jury that you warned Sharon not to be with Thomas Randolph, right?
I did.
And she ignored you, didn't she? And she was with Thomas Randolph. Fair?
Love has a scent.
You told her not to be with Thomas Randolph, and she ignored you, and she was with Thomas Randolph.
She
There.
was.
You told us that that at some point you finally realized she's legally married, right?
Yes, she told me she was.
And she hadn't told you she'd gotten married, had she?
No, she never did tell me until she wanted to get her divorce.
So it's fair to say that Sharon got married to Tommy and didn't even tell you she was married, right?
I was no longer working with Sharon.
So it's fair to say that Sharon got married and didn't even tell you she was married to Thomas Randall.
No, because she wasn't working with me.
Okay,
So
but
the answer is yes, she did not tell me.
She did not tell me.
Because you're toxic.
Now you say
and
she wasn't
horrible.
working with you.
toxic.
When did she stop working with you?
It was after she married Thomas Randolph.
Are you sure it wasn't in 2006 after the,
I cannot give you an exact date.
because
Hmm.
you're struggling a little bit with dates, aren't you?
Mhm.
I am struggling with it.
With some of the dates. Do you remember you told us about this boating incident and you described it at first to the jury as 2005? Do you remember saying that?
I did.
Do you remember saying
Yes,
that?
that was just 15 minutes ago.
It's been a
madam.
long time.
So what I'm asking you, I'm not quarreling with you. I'm just saying you told the jury the boating incident was in 2005.
It
Yeah.
gets me every
Whatever.
time.
I do not have the exact dates.
And you didn't even know that they were legally married, so you don't know when they were legally married, right? Is that fair?
So I'm sorry, but
You weren't, Sharon didn't tell you, oh, I'm getting married tomorrow. It's going to be wonderful. You should come. Nothing like that. You didn't know about the
no, she did not tell me that.
And you know she stopped working with you at some point, right?
Yes,
You'd warned Sharon, don't marry this man because you didn't like him, right?
I warned her against marrying him.
And when she told you she'd actually married him, you told her you were unhappy about it, right?
I didn't tell her I was unhappy about it.
You did not say that you were unhappy about the marriage?
No, I did not.
Then what'd you say?
Did the police actually come and speak with you?
The police did not come and speak with me.
In fact, the only time you talk to law enforcement is over the phone. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
They never take a recorded statement from you, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a law stream.
And
I'm
you
not
can
a
tell
lawyer.
us that you did not tell the police that when you found out that Sharon was
We've never
married, that you
claimed to
told
be
her that
serious.
you were unhappy with.
I'm a commentary stream.
That's not something you told the police.
I never told the police that.
Okay. And you told Sharon when you did
I'm
find
laying-
out she was married, you told her you thought
I'm laying
she
it
should
around
get a
a lot.
divorce, right?
No, I did not.
You did not tell her about to go get a divorce and how to do it.
No, I did not.
Did you give her advice on how to get a divorce?
When she called me, I told her I would help her.
Okay, so you gave her advice on how to get a divorce.
I told her that I would contact attorneys, paralegals, or help her get her divorce.
Then you gave her advice.
You told the jury that you said to Sharon, you should come stay with me.
Yes, I did.
And she didn't come, did she?
She did not come and stay with me.
She stayed with Tommy.
She stayed in her house.
Well, now that conversation you had a week before the incident, do you remember you said that you got a call from Sharon about a week before the incident?
Yes.
Where was she? Do you know?
I don't know where she was at. She called me. I was in my vehicle on my way home from a board meeting.
So do you know where
Oh,
she was
Lord.
at?
I do not know where she
Board
was
of
at. I
angry
did.
biddies.
At board meetings, you just have to put that in
Yes, of
because
course
I'm
you did.
important. I'm the most important woman you have ever interviewed.
I bet she's a hoot serving drinks to at restaurants.
Maybe I
Oh
should
my
put the
gosh.
headphones in again so I can hear stuff. I was wondering why you were so low. It's because I pulled my headphones out when I was crying of laughter. So yeah,
Oh, Baker.
yeah. My body language expertise says she's not happy about this either, and she just told the jury all of that.
Yeah, she just told the jury I gave her advice about divorcing. And now he asked, did you give her advice about divorcing? No.
Yeah, I told her about lawyers, paralegals, how to get a carrier pigeon, but no advice because we don't give legal advice.
But she was gonna call them. Like, what is that? Like, ma'am.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, please
Oh,
stick to the
gracias.
language we all agreed on.
It's just why try to cover up now? She put herself into the case. She wanted to be a part of this because
yeah.
she believed she could solve this case. No, I think all of her husband died from her.
Voluntarily.
Some of them had a really big bill for
Look, y'all, let's be real.
radiator
All of her
fluid.
husbands are hiding with Rosiaro Gutierrez down in Mexico, drinking margaritas and hiding the hell away from her advice, as we all would.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in a high-end neighborhood. We have to remember that. She's a board member. She's a vice president, not a president, because that would have then she would have some responsibilities. But as a vice president, you just show up and say, I think you're doing everything wrong. I would have done it a different way. Well, do you want to be a president? No, I don't have the time. I have my job.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one who goes through the neighborhood with her little yappy dog and looks in through all the windows just to see how wrong people are doing everything.
Oh Lord. Can we in exchange
Just
for
a
cultural
measuring tape
enrichment,
for the lawn.
We graciously give her to any country who needs enforcements with laws. We gift her to Finland because of cultural enrichment. You're welcome, and
Deidre, she's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Medina Finn, she's all yours.
She's gonna say no way.
Did not ask her where she
Antarctica,
was
you're
at.
welcome.
Had she been traveling with Tommy in the, let's say, week or weeks before the,
That I cannot tell you.
were they planning to go in the days after the incident? Were they planning to go on a trip anywhere, or do you not know?
I don't know.
Were they planning to celebrate Mother's Day anywhere, or are you?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because that's not really, I mean, it's fair to say that from the understanding you had of Sharon, Sharon wouldn't be going out with Tommy in the days before the incident, right? Because she was
When
upset.
Sharon and I worked together, we talked. After Sharon quit working,
With
she
you.
would come in and visit every now and then.
So is it fair to
No,
say?
she collected a
Mind
late
if I call you
paycheck.
Deidre?
And she
Is that
had
okay?
to.
Sure.
Deidre, is it fair to say that you were close with Sharon when you worked together, right?
We were close.
Hey, you're working together all day long, 8 hours a day, get to chat, water
Yes.
cooler kind of thing.
No
Fair?
way. She worked on it.
And at some point, you lose that closeness because she stops working with you. You're not colleagues anymore.
She was home.
Okay. And so she was home with Tommy and not with you 8 hours a day. Fair?
She was with Tommy.
And
Didn't
so
we just
it's
agree
fair to
this?
say that in the weeks, months leading up to this incident, you weren't as close. You didn't really know what was going on in her life. Fair?
It's not that I wasn't as close because I always cared about Sharon. But she had
That's
a
a
life to live,
two-way street, lady.
And it's clear.
and I was working.
And it's clear you cared about your friend, right? You cared about your friend, right?
I cared about Sharon.
And you were
This is-
upset, obviously.
I smell
that
burnt
your friend
toast.
had been murdered,
I smell burnt
right?
toast.
Obviously, it upset
Yeah.
you.
I'm sorry.
My brain.
You were very
is hurting.
upset when you learned your friend had been murdered. Is that a fair statement?
I was extremely upset.
And it's fair to say that you were discussing for a second without talking about anything that said you heard news accounts, right? You said you heard news accounts.
I saw the segment on the news.
And it's fair to say that your friend deserves justice, correct?
I think
I
it's
believe she does.
dentures he is chewing, not gum.
And you would like to make sure you can do whatever it is you could do to get that for her.
Very much.
Yeah.
Last sort of area. You told us today that you learned or you talked to Sharon about life insurance, right?
Sharon told me that Tommy had a life insurance policy on her.
Did she say that she'd gotten her life insurance policy for herself? In other words, did Sharon say, I got a life insurance?
She did not tell me that.
It was sort of something maybe Tommy had gone and done secretly, and she found
I
out.
have no clue if it was secret or not.
Objection. You got misstated testimony.
I'll ask another question. Did you tell the police that you had actually heard something about life insurance on Sharon, but you couldn't recall where or from whom you'd heard it? Do you remember telling the police that?
I told the
Like,
police
yes, Wendy.
that Sharon told me
That's a bad
that Tommy had a
parenting
life
right there.
insurance policy on her.
You told the
that's
police
not-
officer that?
Yes, I did.
Who was that police officer?
I called a criminologist.
No. Listen to me. Listen to my question, okay? Who was this police officer that
Hold on
you?
just 1 second, Mr. Buford. Yes.
What is going on right
Now
It's
he is
criminology.
impeaching her because she apparently, and this is written down by the police officer who she talked to, that she had no idea. She only heard it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
That is
Ah.
probably what they are trying to get in. And the prosecution really don't want that in.
No, but it's good for the goose. It's good for the
Did
gander.
you ever talk to a Detective O'Kelly? Does that name ring a bell? Or
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell Detective O'Kelly that you had only heard about life insurance and recently heard that, but you didn't say it was from Sharon? Do you understand the distinction I'm saying?
I told Detective O'Kelly that Sharon had told me that Tommy had a life insurance policy on her.
Yeah, impeach her with prior statements.
Of course I told you. Your Honor, that concludes cross-examination.
What? What?
Why? I would have brought in the prior statement. I'm
Yeah.
just going to pull this off,
Yeah.
and then because we have a feed from the courtroom, so hopefully they will be going live soon. The judge walked into the room and said, "Hey, girl." So
Of course, the judge did exactly that.
she seems like she's
Are you trying to mow down poor Jamie?
Jamie.
yeah.
Yes.
It's a lawn and crim.
Yeah, lawn and cream. Yeah.
But
Oh Lord.
we just watched 45 minutes of nothing but
Gossip.
yeah.
Pretty much.
We talked about this at the water cooler. That's all we heard about. And I thought she was unhappy. I thought she was depressed. I could see her body language change, and
I
And I never
whined
liked
about
Tommy.
her. I whined to her about her new guy until she quit. But we were very close. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any phone records that backs anything of this up? I bet not.
I bet not either.
No.
I don't understand how this was allowed under
No.
any hearsay rules.
and they even had a hearing because they wanted to go further than this. And I think this was way off what you should be allowed to put in a trial.
Yeah.
Her talking about her mental state as a feeling she had that the other one was depressed.
Yeah.
If she
this
had
is
knowledge
just
that she
really
went to the
odd.
doctor and was diagnosed with a depression, I could understand it. But I'm feeling she was depressed. How can you?
She was convinced the guy did it, and she is going to say anything she can to.
Yeah, it's not a good look. I don't understand how we're doing all of the, I have a feeling, I have a this, I have a that. It's very odd.
Yeah. Well, the last witness from Friday was even worse. She was short, but she was just basically, she saw them in Mervin's looking at rings and was like, "Are you serious?" basically to him. And I'm just like, what is all with all these people who haven't seen you in years, but you're like, "Oh, me and my fiance are looking at rings," and you're like, seriously? Like, and then she saw them hug her one time, and he was like overly loving, like, "Oh, I love this woman," and she thought that was weird. So that was like her testimony.
And how is that allowed in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's her feelings. It's not facts. It's not evidence. It's feelings. And even though I don't like Ben Shapiro, he's right when he says facts don't care about feelings.
Yeah. And I wasn't that impressed by the cross-examination either.
No, it was weak.
Yeah.
He did pretty good on the daughter. I think he had a pretty good cross-examination of the daughter, but this was weak. I would have beaten her more with, "You didn't like him, did you?"
Yeah.
Just to set it up as yeah.
Well, I did like a lot of the, like, you didn't like him, you didn't trust him, but she like allowed him to pick up her children and like do all those things. So it was like,
yeah,
you can't one or the other. Hi, Shelly.
You girls are nasty.
What?
Well, I saw you coming, and I know you're a big Ben Shapiro fan, so I just thought I would put it in there. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I too heard that Ben Shapiro is his wife is a doctor. Yeah, and I have seen the pictures of his sister. Some say they are fake. Some say she is blessed by the god with huge tracts of land.
I barely know who Ben Shapiro is.
He's just like a conservative firebrand, and he talks super fast, and he people. You and I, we come from a different system, so we see stuff like that differently. So I just think he's kind of like a conservative grifter, and he's always trying to sell all of these. It's kind of like Alex Jones and stuff like that, where the world would end tomorrow, and you have to listen to him, and something he says has a lot of meaning, and but sometimes I just think it's kind of like Tim Pool. They just need to stir the pot to get views.
Kinda.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I know who. I remember him, but not from Ben Shapiro as himself, from a channel called Rationality Rules, who is a debunk channel.
I've
And
seen
dang
that.
it, here I was going to start selling male vitality. Well,
Yeah,
this is
if you ever
back
get
royal silver.
She might be blessed with the cash to get the. Yeah.
no, I think she is she's au naturel. But no, he's just but he's big in the conservative movement. He was really anti-Trump, and then he became
It sounds
pro.
like they are actually talking in court, but
Yeah,
law and
you can't really hear it. Oh, how is darling? And I have the thing put on. We shouldn't wear a lilac shirt and tie. It doesn't look good.
Well, at least I didn't put him in white.
I liked him better with the ponytails.
Yeah.
All right, for the jury.
She'll be the, Your Honor, she'll be the third.
Yeah. I just saw the pictures of her tracts of land.
Oh, I didn't know Ben Shapiro had a sister. I only knew his wife was a doctor, because he never mentions it. But
Please be seated. Honor, the jury is all present and accounted for. Okay. We are back on the record at C 250966, State Down versus Thomas Randolph. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Welcome back. Mr. Randolph is present because the Chinese deputy attorney on behalf of the state. Both parties stipulate to the presence of our jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I'm not pulling that one up, Sal.
Yes, Your Honor, the state calls Antoinette Dean.
and we're back to the lawyer looking like she doesn't know how to blow out or give herself a blowout. She visited the salon once.
she has the look of that movie.
She looks like Catherine Tate, the British comedian, when she's not glammed up. Another Gossip Girl. No, she's too young.
Princess Diaries. Pretty good looking. I need to have my hair and stuff like that.
Tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Probably.
She is post-Amish.
Spell your name for the record, please.
Antoinette Beam, Antoinette Beam.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Thank you. Do your friends call you Tony?
Yes,
Okay. Did you have a friend by the name of Sharon Randolph?
yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember approximately what year you met Sharon?
Around 2004,
Okay. And what were the circumstances? Did you work together or how did you meet?
through a friend of mine.
Okay.
Do they not have
When you
budget
met her
in,
in
Nevada?
2004,
to-
was she living at her house on Rancho Santa Fe Drive?
Yes,
it's been a long weekend.
When you first met Sharon, did you guys go out and do things together?
We just
or
started.
Did you talk to each other on
We
the phone?
rewatched
What did you do?
well,
don't the CC work?
at
We just
first when I
rewatched
met
the
her, she was actually
last
dating
part of Friday.
a male
Now
friend
this
of
is the
mine.
first witness for today.
We didn't go out until after they stopped seeing each
Iris,
other.
I know.
Okay. And then you two became friends?
Yes.
And what kinds of things would you do with her?
Go, watch live bands, go to the casino, and just, talk on the phone a lot.
Did Sharon like movies?
Yes. I didn't go to movies with her. I'm not a big movie person, so, but yes, she did.
Okay. In the time period of 2008, did you see each other day to day during that time period?
We saw each other off and on. I worked, she was working too. So we didn't see too much, but we did a lot of phone talking most of the time.
When you say you talked on the phone, are you talking about daily, multiple times a day, weekly?
Oh, yes, daily, more than once a day. We would talk sometimes, yeah.
Okay. At some point, did Sharon introduce you to a man she was involved with by the name of Thomas Randolph?
Yes.
And do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Could you point to him and describe what he's wearing today, please?
Right there with the blue shirt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant? Where were you when you met Mr. Randolph?
Sharon and Mr. Randolph and I, we went to the Sand Dollar Lounge.
Okay, so just sort of a night out.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever see him or go over to their house for dinner once he was living at the Rancho Santa Fe house?
Yes.
And obviously they were living together at that point.
Yes.
What kinds of things would you do at their house? Just have dinner or anything else?
Yeah, dinner,
Ate on a tea.
hang out, watch TV.
In your contact with Mr. Randolph, did you observe him to have any medical conditions or physical problems?
Yes. He couldn't, his back was always bothering him.
Did he ever comment to you about any medication he was on?
Yes.
What did he say about that?
Well, he had a lot of medication that he was on for his pain.
No, this is a friend she met a couple of years before the murder. So she didn't work in the beauty shop, but she went to the casino. And remember, from the first day, Sharon allegedly had a bit of a gambling problem.
Oh,
Okay.
Well-
And did he ever tell you he was a walking
Who hasn't a bit of a
pharmacy?
gambling
Yes,
problem?
yes, he did. That was when I first met him.
Okay. Do you know how it was that Sharon met Mr. Randolph?
it's never the boobs you want to see, Yamaha
Line on a
biker.
dating line.
It's
online
always the monkey
dating.
paw of
And
boobs.
in your conversations with Sharon, was it your impression that the relationship
I've broken
progressed
Baker.
slowly or at a different speed?
No,
So
yeah,
I'm gonna
it
go
went
100.
pretty fast. Yeah.
Do you remember her ever discussing earns or life insurance?
Yes, that I called her one day and they were out and they were shopping for urns. And this was, it was right around, because, you know, they got married twice. So I don't remember if it was the first time or the second time, but I just remember Sharon telling me, you know, well, you know, you have to plan for these things, you know, and we're getting old. And I said, well, Sharon, two people in love aren't planning their death, you know, so I didn't
Romeo and Juliet
understand
did.
why they were out shopping for urns. I never heard of anything like that before.
Okay. Do you know of other activities that they did, like going boating or anything like that?
Sharon liked to go bowling a lot. And I know she took her grandson. I'm not sure. Tommy might have gone too. I don't know if he was actually bowling. I don't
Yes, about
remember.
boating,
But
not bowling.
yeah, she did like to go bowling.
Are you aware of whether or not Mr. Randolph had a boat?
Yes.
Do you remember them doing that, going boating?
Yes, they went
So
out.
this
They
is
went
a
boating.
compound.
They had some sort of a where he was
Again,
going too
kind
fast
of
and
leading.
knocked her into the
Yeah.
boat. Yeah.
Some sort of accident?
Yeah.
Do you remember them going on a cruise?
Oh yeah. They went on a couple cruises. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about like target shooting in the desert?
Yep. Yes, they did that too.
When you, I don't want to know what Sharon said, but when you heard about some of these activities, did you express any concern to Sharon?
Yes.
What did you tell Sharon?
That I wasn't comfortable with her doing these things, and most likely it must have been because of how fast the relationship went. He was,
They
you
met
know,
into that's
adamant about
3
the
years and they are
life
not
insurance.
young.
How many stories have you heard about people getting together in a bit later in life, where a year in they're living together, they're getting married, maybe half a year in,
Mm.
because we have been through it before, so we're just gonna move on. We
Yeah.
know what we're looking for, and other people will never live together because they have tried it before.
Yeah.
So
And I'm hearing kids in their 20s, oh, this is the love of my life. We're getting married next week. Okay, how long have you been together? 3 weeks. I mean,
yeah,
still stupid, but I mean, what's unusual about this? I mean, me and my girlfriend, we have everything planned out because guys in my family rarely do many years past 70. So, of course, I have everything planned out.
yeah. I think bronze would be nice. I tan up nice. Yeah, you arranged the funeral. I lost my mom and dad within 5 years, so I started to think about, because I had to help my dad bury my mom, and then I had to bury my dad because I'm the only family member living close by. So I was thinking, well, what psalms do I want sung at my funeral and stuff like that? So my kids shouldn't be in that situation, and I'm not planning on going just yet. But when my parents were in their 50s, they talked about where do we want to get buried, because my dad was the president of the cemeteries in my city, and so we knew where they wanted to be buried. We knew how the funerals were planned and stuff like that, and how they wanted to get away from here, if they wanted to be cremated or buried in a casket. I can't see it's a problem buying an urn if you're in your 60s, and it's a little funny thing, so we can be together forever kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think boat is a bigger commitment than urns.
If the Team America theme isn't played at my wedding or at my funeral with sparklers, I want Team America, and I want the entire speech, the entire Team America speech about
Decks
A-holes and P's and D's, and I want that.
I totally agree,
Y'all make it
TV.
happen.
and I totally agree with TV. You should plan for stuff like that, and it's not. My mom got cancer, and one of the first things they started talking about, where did she put her the things she wanted to do for her funeral when the doctor said, well, it's terminal, we can't do anything more. So my dad didn't have to do that part because he had to go through the whole cancer part. So it was the funeral was kind of easy. So yeah, I don't see this as a big mystery.
And then I think the last straw might have been the urns thing. I'm like, this all just doesn't make any sense. Like, you know.
So you warned her.
Yes.
Do you remember whether or
You have to find the
not
body before you can have a funeral.
Mr. Randolph was ever gone during holidays?
Yes.
Look, if we can't
Do you
find
remember
you for
which
3
holidays
weeks, Lauren,
those
I'll light
were?
a candle.
Christmas and Valentine's Day.
Okay. And without telling me what she
Hey, White
said, what
Rabbit.
was Sharon's emotional state when he was gone?
Oh, and not
Yeah,
White
she
Rabbit is here
was
too.
very
Hey.
upset, crying, and just, yeah, very depressed and mad, just everything.
Okay.
She, you know,
Were you aware that the absence was because of another relationship that Mr. Randolph had?
yes.
During your friendship with Sharon and knowing Mr. Randolph, did you ever meet an individual by the name of Michael Miller?
Yes.
Where was it that you met him?
Well, I believe both times were probably at the house, at Sharon's house.
Okay, in the house on Rancho Santa Fe?
Yes. Mhm.
And what were the circumstances?
As far like
was it dinner or he just happened to be there? Or?
one time I went there
Yeah.
just to talk to her, and he was there. I don't know if I knew he was there, but I just went over to the house. And then there was a time where we did have dinner. Yes,
Okay.
we all had dinner.
When I know it's not
Sorry.
Oh, that's an
There's a
unfortunate
video
pause.
of him tapping one of his wives. Should that be taping? Because tapping could mean something else.
I hope not. I mean,
Might be
no.
wiretapping and
Or maybe tapping.
oh,
No. All the no.
I don't want to see a tape where he's tapping her that way. Yeah, and all the bunnies are here: the White Rabbit, and Twisted Bunny. So yeah. Did you do a David and make text to speak?
Yeah, I was trying to.
I was like, wait a minute, I'm confused. I don't know, but maybe. But I still don't want to see it. But also, I still haven't Googled blue waffle, but it's still in the back of my mind poking me like, you really should Google me.
Yeah.
huge number of times, but in the 2 times that you met Mr. Miller, how would you
Oh,
describe
hey, let's
his
go,
demeanor?
Brandon.
He was pretty quiet, and he was polite and quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did in the time that during the dinner one that
Never
you described,
Google
the
that.
occasion when he was at dinner, was he talkative at dinner?
Especially
Sort of. He
never
was
do
talking
that.
to my son at the time about
Hey, Antoine. No, you didn't really miss anything good. This is the first witness that started late today. So they have just talked about how she felt that her girlfriend wasn't happy in her marriage. And this crowd has been a lot of women gossiping a lot about another couple's relationship.
they were trying because to keep my son from
Great.
doing
now
the wrong
she's got to take
thing,
her notes.
stay out of trouble type of thing. And then Michael just kept on talking, and Tommy told him to stop talking.
So Mr. Randolph directed Michael Miller to stop talking?
Yeah, because he was like,
And you're,
that kind of thing. That's what he's like, no more.
okay, so he was sort of gesturing to him as well as like, you're done talking. Is that yes?
Yes, sorry.
Once that occurred, did Mr. Miller stop talking?
Yes.
Was that the only occasion that you saw that? Because you only had the one dinner and then saw him the other time?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay, chat.
Do you
How many
remember
cats between
if
the two of
you
them? I know I have 5, so
spoke
I can't say
to
anything, but
Sharon
16?
on the day of her murder?
Yes.
Do you remember what time that was?
Between like 5 and 6.
The witness has a
evening.
Sarah
Yes.
Boone vibe to
Okay.
me.
Was it in person or by phone?
The phone.
And were you aware of plans she had that night
Yes. She was going to dinner
with
in a movie with Tommy.
Tom, dinner and a movie?
Yes.
Now, on occasion over your relationship with Sharon, did you ever call her when she happened to be watching a movie at home or something like that?
Yes. Yeah.
And what was her habit with regard to that?
Yeah, she always wanted to get off the phone, and I would get kind of frustrated sometimes, like, I need to talk to you. And who cares about this dumb movie?
So it was really important to her.
Yes.
And would
What's
she
that
call
laugh?
you after the movie concluded?
Yes. Sometimes, depending on if it was late or whatever.
Okay.
They went home for the chill
You
part.
mentioned, I think earlier in your testimony, that there were 2 weddings for the Randolphs.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yes.
that-
Yes.
Do you have any sense of when those were?
That's just it. It's been so long. I
Spirits.
can't remember. I just know the first one was in Mexico, and then they were supposed to have gotten married again, but to make it more legitimate or something like that. But we don't really. I don't know when
Never had
she
chimichanga.
did that. None. I wasn't there, and so I don't know where they did it.
Okay, actually, that was my next question. You didn't attend either wedding?
No.
After Sharon's murder, did you have any conversations with the defendant about what had happened?
Yes.
How long after the murder did he talk to you?
It was pretty fast. It might have been that same day. Maybe, yeah, because he told me to not to to tell Colleen not to come to the house. So I'm pretty sure it was that day. Something bad happened, and tell Colleen not to come to the house. So it was that day.
Okay. Was this conversation by phone?
Yes.
Did he indicate that he had shot somebody?
Yes.
Who did he indicate he had shot?
Michael.
Again, all the leading.
Do you remember him ever commenting to you that Colleen was crazy?
Yes.
Was that in that conversation or later on?
Yes. No, it was that conversation. Yes.
Okay. What did he say about
Oh,
Colleen?
it's not
That
hearsay.
she sees 2 psychiatrists and don't believe anything she says.
As long as they
that
don't
she's crazy.
object, it's not hearsay.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes.
Just Googling chimichangas.
What has been marked as state
Oh.
286, or sorry, 285, 286, and 287, and then one that's been
We're
admitted as
canceling this
288.
testimony to watch
Okay.
Baker make chimichangas
Yeah, I'm gonna
instead.
flip through these and just
We're
ask you if
learning
you
more.
I'll flip
No,
through
I
all
can't
of
do
them.
accent
Okay.
and foreign food.
Oh, true. I have
Do you
Yeah.
recognize the individuals in those photos?
Yes.
State moves to admit 285 to 287.
I need a director to do it about the transaction. All right, those will be admitted.
So now they are showing autopsy
I'm
photos
gonna
of her
put
friend.
what's been admitted as
Oh,
285
then I have
on
to
the
be ready because
overhead.
they showed it on.
Okay,
Who
no,
were
that
those
was
individuals in that?
That's worse than the
Oh,
Sharon
even
autopsy
worse.
photos.
Tommy.
Okay. You weren't there though when that happened?
No.
No one should have been there. Those two shouldn't
And
have been
this
there.
is 286. Appears to be another photo from that day.
You can just
They
see
all
the
were
love
in
in their
Tommy.
eyes.
Yeah,
God, they both looks like a funeral.
ecstatic.
This is 287.
Oh,
Yep. Sharon and Tommy.
Well, aren't they?
And
he
what's
he
been
looks like a
already
woman.
previously
I'm
admitted
sorry
as
to say.
288.
And Sharon and Colleen.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
So again,
So
really nothing.
just hearsay.
Yeah, gossip. She called me, I
Morning,
believe.
ma'am.
I can't remember when.
You and I have never spoken, as far as you know, right?
No.
Okay. I'm one of Tommy's lawyers. I just have a few questions to ask you about what you just talked about on direct examination, okay?
Okay.
I can sense, and I certainly understand that you loved Sharon very much, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
You were friends with her for several years?
Just a few years.
Okay, and you talked to her a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I mean, probably goes without saying, but probably broke your heart when she died, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to know I am terribly sorry for your loss. And I'm terribly
I don't
sorry
like
that
this
Mike Miller
opening.
killed your friend.
No.
Holy
Yes.
cow,
Mhm.
blink your eyes, dude.
You have
I have
no
a few
reason
questions
to be.
about some of the things you talked about.
You don't feel anything. It's your job.
You had
It's
spent some
It's so
time
fake.
with Sharon and Tommy together, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you keep saying, mm-hmm. It seems silly because I know exactly what you mean, but Victoria over here is going to be typing everything down
Yeah.
at some point.
Yes.
So the best you can, actually say yes rather
Yes.
than uh-huh or uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I'm
Y'all,
going to
he
tell you
just
is you
fermented
got to
his
wait till I'm
beer
done before you talk.
and or
I'll do
used
my
an
best to wait
pencil to
till you're
fill it
done
in.
before I talk because she can't get us talking over each other. Okay?
Okay.
I know it's different than talking in real life. When Sharon talked,
he starts out by, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss," and then he just go a bit into a-hole mode.
Yeah.
That's what he did with the daughter too.
Yeah, and it's just so fake when a lawyer said, "Oh, I feel for your loss."
Look, he has only so much empathy, and he used it all up.
Yeah,
in that first 5 seconds.
and when I see a lawyer talk about how he feels for the victims and stuff like that, it just reminds me of Jaws when he talks about the sharks and the baby eyes, baby doll eyes. It just comes off so fake, and I know it's to try to relate to people, but tomorrow you are probably gonna defend a guy who did something even worse than this, and you have to put that part of you. So it just seems like an act.
talked about him, she referred to him as Tommy, right?
Yes.
And you knew him as Tommy, correct?
Yes.
Everybody that talked about him referred to him as Tommy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it
So when
seems
you say
fake.
Mr. Randolph
what
or
I'm
something
saying.
like on direct examination, that's not how you referred to him back in 2008, right?
No.
Okay. Sharon liked to go out to eat, yes?
Yes.
And she went out to eat with Tommy, right?
Yes.
She liked to go to the movies, right?
Yes.
And she did that with Tommy, right?
Yes.
She liked to go out and see live music, concerts, right?
Yes.
And she did that with Tommy, right?
Yes.
When they started dating, she actually asked you, do you believe in love at first sight, right?
Yes.
Okay. Indicating to you that she felt she had fallen in love with Tommy at first sight, right?
Yes.
Okay. And they appeared to have a very good relationship at first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
At first.
There were times when Sharon was upset because Tommy had been seeing someone else, right?
Yes.
You were aware that he had always made that known to Sharon, right?
Yes.
Like he didn't hide that fact, correct?
No.
He talked to Sharon about it and Sharon talked to you about it, right?
Yes.
Did you ever talk to Tommy about it?
No.
Okay. You were invited into the Randolph home for dinner, right?
Yes.
And you ate with Sharon and Tommy, correct?
Yes.
And at least on one of those occasions, Mike Miller was there, correct?
Yes.
You mentioned your son on direct examination. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. You had a son that was in his adolescent teenage years at the time, right?
Yes.
And you had some concerns that he would be getting into some trouble, didn't you?
Yes.
And you actually asked Tommy and Mike to talk to him about that, right?
Yes.
And they did that for you, correct?
Well, somehow the conversation came up. I don't know exactly. I just know that they were talking to him and I didn't mind it. I didn't deliberately.
Again, Tommy
I'm sure
was
I
an
didn't
a-hole.
say, hey,
Oh,
can you
he
just
helped
talk
me
to
with
him
this, he
about
helped
this?
with that.
Somehow it came up.
Okay. And bring it back to my
That's the
question.
drill.
You had indicated a moment ago that you actually talked to Tommy and Mike about speaking to your son, right?
I didn't talked to them to tell them to talk to him. Somehow the conversation came up, and when they were talking, I didn't mind.
Okay. Tommy was involved in that conversation, yes?
Yes.
And that was a conversation involving you, your son, about him staying out of trouble, right?
Yes.
And you were appreciative of that at the time, right?
Yes.
Okay. You indicated that you talked to Sharon the day that she died. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. When you talked to her, you actually became aware of her plans for that evening. The state asked you about that, right?
Yes.
You knew that her and Tommy were going to a dinner and a movie, right?
Yes.
And you knew that was going to happen sometime around 6 p.m., correct?
Well, I don't know what time, but yes, they were going out.
She talked to you about what they were going to do that night, right?
Yes.
And she actually talked to you about what had happened earlier that day, right?
I guess what happened earlier that day.
Yeah, like for instance, you knew that Tommy had been to the bank, right?
Yes.
And that he had withdrawn a large amount of money from one bank, right?
Yes.
And that he was going to put that in another bank, right?
Objection, hearsay.
Not if she can confirm it.
It has to do with the existing state of mind of the person she was talking to on the telephone about their plans for that day and where he was at the time.
Objection, hearsay, and foundation.
No, that'll be over. She can testify about Sharon's state of mind.
You were talking to Sharon on the phone, right? Yes?
Yes.
So
She told you
this
where they were
wasn't
going that
allowed in,
night,
but
correct?
everything else.
She also
I mean, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
How was that not allowed in after the previous witness we heard from last week, and her spilling the guts about anything and everything, and all of a sudden this is hearsay?
And could you
Yeah.
rephrase it and said, did you know Tommy withdrew a large sum of money? Yes, Sharon told me. That would be exactly what the state did.
You would think. I don't know. This seems dumb and dumber that they can't bring it in, but I'm not a lawyer.
No, but again, this leads to if she knew it, then it's not unusual for this Michael guy to know it, that he had money laying around at
Yeah.
that specific day, because they put it out like, oh, he was moving money between banks, and it was just exactly on this day, but this lady knew it too, so it wasn't it wasn't a conspiracy. So yeah, it's the Lawn and Crim logo.
also told you that Tommy was going to come pick her up and that he was out running errands with Mike, correct?
Yes.
And that he
Exactly, Alexandra. If you don't object, it's allowed.
had in his possession a large amount of cash, right?
Yes.
That he intended to put in the bank, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sharon knew all that, right?
Yes. He
And
was
she-
either withdrawing or putting it in. I just know they were going to the bank.
Okay.
Yeah. You're either
You
withdrawing or
remember
putting it in.
you talked to a detective by the name of Dino Kelly on the 13th of May of 2008. You remember that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
And you know that statement was
I
recorded,
love
correct?
how many
Yes.
times
And
does
you've
he
had
have
an
to be
opportunity to
told
read
yes
that,
or
right?
no?
Yes.
And you would agree with me, having had an
She has
opportunity to read
normally
that,
a
you know
long
you
port
told
in
Dino
one
Kelly
hand,
back in
a
May of
prop
2008
standing by the slot
was
machine,
going
and
to
then
put
she's
large
sitting
amount
here.
of money in the bank, right?
Yes.
And Sharon
Give her a
told you
couple.
that,
Give
correct?
her a couple quarters so we can get this done.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's about to
Just
make
to be
me crazy.
clear, you knew that Tommy was with Michael that day before they were going to dinner, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now they're establishing that Tommy knew about the money.
No, Michael.
You
Tommy
said
is the
that
husband.
Sorry,
Sharon
Michael.
told you in a phone call that she was out shopping for urns with Tommy, right?
Yes.
Burns.
And you thought that was weird, right?
Yes.
You'd agree with me when Sharon told that to you, Sharon didn't think that was weird, correct?
Nope.
She thought that was just something that she was doing, right?
Yep.
And she did a lot of things in her life that
Mind your
maybe
business.
you wouldn't do. Agreed?
Yeah. I
Okay.
suppose so.
She's a different person than you, right?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
So the fact that she something is appropriate to do, whether or not you think it's appropriate really doesn't matter. Does it?
No, but I'm her
That
friend, so I'm
explains a
allowed
whole
to
lot.
tell her, I don't think someone should be planning her death when
Well,
she's
No,
supposed to be
planning
what?
a funeral.
Because to you,
Now I'm getting
that's
Mr. Mo an urn
unconventional
with
and
Nancy
different and
Pelosi's
weird.
boobs on it.
Again,
that is
How-
so stupid.
how do you get from buying an urn to planning a murder?
Yeah, or even
She got
planning
one for
death.
him as
Yeah.
well.
They were
You're
getting a
planning the
murder.
funeral so you don't have to do it later.
Yeah,
That's not weird.
people do that all the time
I
When
at all ages.
yeah,
I
I
just
don't want
talked
to leave
to.
my kids with a bunch of stuff.
I just
Well, I
talked
mean,
to.
yeah, Mo is planning her kid's funeral on a daily basis. I mean,
And people from the HOA allegedly, and like
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff. I mean,
But it's just, and it's been becoming more and more common that you plan stuff like this and then give the power of attorney or whatever you would call it to your kids and say, well, if I get a stroke or something like that, we have fixed all the legal stuff before, so you don't have to go through the court system. If I have, I can't be doing stuff legally. And that's becoming more and more common. It's just to make everything easier. I really don't see how buying an urn is, I'm going to kill you.
Right?
Yes.
And she didn't think it was, did she?
No,
I mean, if he was buying one
In fact,
for
it was
her,
her idea, wasn't
like
it?
by himself,
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe that's different.
Just to be clear, Sharon never told you, hey, Tommy's making me pick out an urn. I don't want to do this, right?
No, she didn't say that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sharon didn't have any problem telling you things that she thought were off or weird or something going on in her mind, how she felt, right?
Say that again.
Did Sharon have any problem telling you when something was going on in her mind?
None of these ladies had
No.
any problems
Did she tell you how
telling
she was
about
feeling?
anything.
Yes.
Okay. You said you talked to Sharon on the phone daily, right?
Yes.
Sometimes several times a day, right?
Yes.
And you actually knew what kind of phone service she had at her residence, didn't you?
Yes.
It was a company called Vonage. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Yes. And sometimes when you talk to Sharon on the phone, the call would just drop, right?
Yes.
And that happened several times, correct?
Yes.
That was a thing that you knew from talking to her, that the phone, the Vonage service at her house would often go out, right?
Yes.
And when it went out for a period of time, you couldn't connect with her, right?
Well, we would get on. She'd call me on her cell phone.
Right. When the Vonage service went out, you sometimes would try to call her back.
what
right?
is wrong with her
Yes. And
answering
you
the
couldn't
damned
get her,
question?
right?
Right.
Because
It's
the Vonage service was out.
because she
correct?
don't know where he's
And so
going,
then
so
to
she
communicate,
thinks she
you would
has
have
to
to
outsmart
transfer
him.
to a cell phone,
It's
right?
common to see in
Yes.
And that
courtrooms.
was a relatively normal thing in your relationship with
Yeah.
Sharon,
but
correct?
he is not
Yes,
impeaching
I would
her.
try
He is
not to call
impeaching the
her on
previous
that.
witness.
I would only
was that
call her
he
on
was
there
calling
if I'd
several
call her
times a
phone and
day.
she didn't answer the cell phone. And if
No,
I-
this is because it took him too long to call the police, because he said he called immediately and he didn't call immediately.
Oh.
They can prove that. So, and again, if you're in a car accident, do you remember if it took a second or a year? No, because your
wasn't
mind is
that
doing.
long. It wasn't that long of
Mm.
it between when he did
No.
call.
But was it 10 minutes and half an hour, 2 hours?
It was within 15 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 12 or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake! That is immediately.
Yeah, because you're running back to your wife. You're running out to the guy you just shot. You think, oh my god, where's my phone? Where's my glasses? I have to lock the door. And
Calm
you feel
down,
like it took a
fumbling
second.
the phone. Yeah.
But as Andrew Branca always say, too much is too much, too little is too little, and it's always too much or too little.
Yeah.
If he has said
Yes.
immediately and it only took a minute, then well, you had it pre-dialed, and if it took 5 minutes, well, you didn't do it immediately. It's just
True.
stupid.
really wanted to talk to her, I'd
So-
call the home phone.
So is it your testimony that the majority of your calls were on the cell phone
Yes.
because the Vonage service was that unreliable?
Yes.
Tony, how many times do you think you in a month's period, how many times do you think you would have called Sharon on average on the Vonage line?
Like I said, if I couldn't get a hold of her on her cell, or I guess if I knew she was home, sometimes I'd call the home, but most of the time I called the cell phone.
Okay. And on those times, how many, I guess what I'm asking is over a month's period of time, how many times do you remember the Vonage dropping out or having a problem?
Yeah, it would have problems, but I mean, it wasn't every single time we talked. So yes, it did have problems sometimes.
Okay. Sometimes meaning like once a week or once a month, or what would you say?
I guess once, I don't know, once or twice a month. I don't know.
And
Something like that.
And then you would just
if
call
you
on a
can't
different
remember,
line
you
or
can't
call
remember. I
back.
can't
Yeah.
understand why the defense can't object to
So-
that and said, well, she clearly doesn't remember.
Mr. Tomchak asked you about
Yeah,
this
that's-
shopping trip to buy
And her answer
rooms.
Yeah.
first was,
Had
it happened.
Sharon
It
ever
didn't
done
happen
that
every
with
time,
the,
but it
like,
happened
the mutual
often.
friend that you
And
guys had that
that's
she
the
was
answer.
dating? Was there some effort to
No.
buy urns or make
But they're
funeral
changing it
plans?
now.
No.
And the
And she
defense
didn't
should
really
be
talk
objecting and
about,
say, well, that's not the statement she gave.
she was pretty
Yeah.
healthy other than
Objection
her
asked and
arm,
answered.
you
She
know,
said it
so
happened a
she didn't
lot.
really have a problem worrying about, not being alive for too long, so no,
Yeah.
it wasn't something we talked about until then.
Okay. Mr. Tomchak asked you about these errands that Mr. Randolph was running with Mike Miller on the day of Sharon's death. Do you recall those questions?
Yes.
And based on what Sharon was telling you, your understanding is they were going to a bank and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Do you remember if she had concerns about that?
No, I guess not.
Do you remember what you told the police her comment was about him withdrawing this money?
No, I don't.
Would looking at your interview from that year refresh your memory?
Yes.
This is page 9, counsel, of the voluntary.
And what was the question?
And she had a teenage son back in 2008. She had that kid as an experienced lady. Let's just call her that.
Okay, yeah.
Having looked at your interview, which was on May the 13th of 2008, does that refresh your recollection as to whether or not she was concerned about this money being withdrawn?
Yes, yeah. She didn't know what he was doing with it.
And she was concerned he was going to leave her again?
Yes.
You
yes.
told the police that back in 08?
Yes, that is right. Yes.
There was discussion about all the activities that Mr. Randolph and Sharon engaged in. Do you have any sense of when those activities took place in their relationship? Like, was it at the beginning, the whole time, in the middle? How would you describe it?
I suppose most of it was in the beginning, because towards the end, he was always in so much pain and he just laid around, slept most of the time.
Did it seem to you like the relationship was happy and functioning
No.
properly at the end?
If you could even bring up that one picture, they both look pretty miserable. Then that was,
I mean,
that
that's the
was
most
one
funny.
of their wedding days. I don't know which one it was, but
I mean,
yeah,
that's the
no,
best wedding picture
They
ever
weren't happy.
for
Okay,
single.
And in May of 08, was Sharon?
If you don't want people to get married, just give them that picture. This could be you.
That's the Drex
No, she was happy
MGTOW
that day,
wedding picture
that
of the
night that they were
century.
going out, but no, she wasn't happy.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
So an unhappy wife in a marriage. I have never heard about that before. Never,
Me-
ever,
Oh,
never, ever,
once
ever.
you get married, everything is top notch.
Yeah. Then you
I-
love each
I-
other, and you will never call your girlfriend and say, "Oh, that's stupid." Nope, never.
Can confirm, as soon as Mr. Moe and I got married, he never did anything where I
Did you
questioned him
pick
and I'm
which
like, "Are
photos
you
the
a
state
new
was gonna show
hire?"
you?
No.
Are you
They
new
did, right?
here?
Yeah.
Okay. You ever looked at a photo of yourself later and looked at your face and said, "Oh, that's not a very good photo of me"?
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that. I'm going to show you what's in evidence.
Sir,
is
you do that in the
286.
mirror
This
every
is the
morning when
state's
you're applying your
photo.
eyeliner. Don't
So
even
they
try,
look
sir.
kind of miserable in that photo, right?
Yes.
You'd agree this is their wedding day, right?
Yeah. I
Or
assume.
funeral day. I mean,
Yeah.
are they
That
picking
that's
out
what that
urns
was.
right there?
You
Yeah.
told us before that they were out and doing a lot of stuff at the initial parts of their relationship, right?
Yep. Yes.
Yes. And that included the time when they got married, right?
Yes.
Okay. You'd agree with me in 285, they're wearing the same outfits, right?
Yes.
They don't look too unhappy there, do they?
Well, you can't see too much of their face, but
They're-
Right.
I guess not.
Man.
Because they're kissing each other, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. That
Again,
appears to be
she
something
don't know
you
where
do
he's
when
going,
don't
so she's
know.
saying,
having a good
I
time, right?
better
Yes.
win this one.
Okay, I'm gonna show you.
Holy, just
287.
let him have
Sure
a
look like
win,
they're having
ma'am.
fun in
It's
that picture, don't
okay.
they?
It's-
Yes.
You agree with that, right?
Yes.
You don't
Okay.
know what's going on in their heads, lady.
Those two ladies look beautiful together.
In fact, when you talk to law enforcement on the 13th of May of 2000,
One of them at least
right
have a
after
ride
Sharon
on
was
a
killed, you
mower.
told Detective Dino Kelly that
Yes,
their
those two
relationship
lesbians
was
look
good,
beautiful
didn't you?
together.
No, I didn't.
You didn't say that?
No. I believe I said it wasn't. She wasn't happy. He was leaving her all the time.
Texting?
No, he's just having her statement on the phone, I think.
Okay. I was like, was he just texting in the middle of it?
He
Yeah.
was not expecting her to lie, so now he has to find the actual document.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He's like,
I love
damn
when
it,
they say,
woman.
I believe I said. I'm like, ma'am.
And he's like, Miss, come on now. I was gonna let you off the stand. I was done.
But hopefully they hit the home run on this one because they let it go with the last witness. They didn't impeach her with prior statements. He just walked down, looked at the paper, and said, "Well, no, nothing further." So
I
hopefully
figured
they
out
can
who-
find it in this paper, and it looks like they don't know where it is.
Look, so the guy doesn't look like Runkle, but he looks like a really cleaned up the Gary Busey from the Chandler Halderson case.
At some point in time, but maybe before all the drama he put her through.
When you talk about all the drama that he put her through, you're talking about looking back at a relationship 15 years ago, aren't you?
No,
You're not?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, she died in 2008, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're talking about a relationship between 2005 and 2008, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You agree with me? 2008 is like 15 years ago, right?
Okay.
It's
Yes.
not like 15. It is.
You'd agree with
15
me that you don't like.
Sir,
Tommy
don't
Randolph,
ask her
do you?
compound questions. She
No.
can't get it.
Yes, I do agree with you. No, I don't like him.
Right. And you and some of Sharon's other friends have been standing out in the hallway last Friday and today, right? Yes.
Yes.
Talking about how you don't like Tommy Randolph, right?
And other things, but yes, I'm sure that came up.
You were discussing your
And you want
testimony in the hallway.
justice for your friend, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
You want to see Tommy get in trouble, right?
Get in trouble.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yes.
just want to see justice for what he did
Right. You
to
know,
not only Sharon, Michael too.
yeah, you know, as you sit here today, Mike Miller shot your friend in the head, right?
That's the story. We're still not sure if what happened. None of us are there, so
Right.
Exactly.
That's precisely my point. You
Exactly.
weren't there, right?
no.
But you're here, yes?
Yes.
And you agree with me, you don't like Tommy, right?
Yes.
Those beaches have a Facebook group.
You know they do.
Oh, you know they do. They get together every Friday, have tequila.
How, I mean,
I think you said
they
all
were
the
discussing in
drama
the
in the
hallway.
relationship.
How are
What did you mean
anybody
by
of
that?
them allowed to testify?
Like I said, him
Yeah, that's really
leaving, he left
shenanigans.
quite a few times, and he would bring his stuff in and then take all his stuff out. He had, he would get, people from like Home Depot, stuff like that, to come move his things out. And
That's
then,
your business.
he was,
Between them.
she would lose things, and then all of a sudden, mysteriously, he found it. And look, it was here the whole time, dummy. And just the way he talked to her and
This is
and treated
And
her.
it's only her side of the
So let me-
story.
Christmas
This
and
is
Valentine's
not-
Day, you go
this
to
isn't
California and be
evidence.
with
You can't
someone
put this
else.
in
I
a
mean,
trial.
Did you feel he was disrespectful to Sharon?
Everything
Yeah.
is, as
And
Nick
did
has
you
said
feel
more than
that,
once, everything is hearsay.
The relationship was not
Yeah.
healthy for
None of
her
this should be allowed.
emotionally?
None
Yes,
of
it
it.
was definitely not healthy.
Especially
And as her
after
friend,
she
you were
just admitted,
concerned
yes,
about
we
all
talked
kinds of
about
things.
how we
Yes.
disliked
Thank you.
Thomas in the hallway.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is
Other things.
that should be
ridiculous.
having her thrown out of there.
I really think this is.
You too. Thank you.
I
so
don't
much.
like this case because they're going to convict a man because girlfriends got together in a Facebook group and decided that he treated that girl wrong and he was always mean to her and oh, we're going to get him because he did this, and it's just, I don't object.
I mean, he seems like a grand douche. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Oh,
he,
yeah.
he seems like a D
But she's
of
stuck with
mammoth.
him. And
Yeah, I mean, she made her choice. I don't get why this
He
is.
kept leaving her for his girlfriend, and she's sat there.
And she stayed.
stayed.
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
oh, another.
Oh God, another biddy. Lord.
Are we going to go through
I mean,
every girlfriend she had?
I do.
oh Lord. It's the Golden Girls.
How many
Oh,
times
no,
do you tell your
she's
girlfriends things, and then your girlfriend goes and says, "Well, what is your side of the story?"
Alice Wolf.
Because we always have our side of the story.
WOLF.
yeah, the dudes never look great in
Oh,
our
I
side
didn't
of the
get that.
story.
Exactly.
Hashtag true.
Ms. Wolf, were you
Like,
friends with
Mr.
Sharon
Mo
Randolph?
looks like a saint
Yes,
in
I
my
was.
stories for people know
Yeah.
me. But
How did you two meet?
I met her at the hair shop
So these
when she came
three
there to
women
work.
that we just saw all discussed the testimony with each other and how much they dislike Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Yeah.
I highly doubt this is proper under US law. I do know that if this had been in a Swedish courtroom, have you discussed your testimony? Yes, me and the other girls was talking about how much we dislike Mr. Thomas. Okay, you're not testifying.
No, that's why you're told you can't talk about the trial. Because
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
this is all the wrongness in the world. It's Jeepers creepers. And again, he's not a nice guy, but if he's going to be convicted because old lady gossips,
Yeah.
Sal is right. Some of his former wives are alive still.
and they hate him too. Dude.
Yeah.
So note to
And
self,
were
guys:
you also-
if you're gonna off your wives, make sure none of them survive, because they will gang up against
Not
you.
legal advice.
Not legal or life advice, but I'm just saying, we will gang up together.
Also working there?
Yes, yes.
And what hair shop was it?
The hair shop.
What was the name of it?
The hair
Oh,
shop.
the hair shop. Okay. Sorry, I'm not picking up on that. And what do you remember approximately what year this was?
It was in the early 90s, 1990s.
Okay. Did there
It
come a
couldn't be
point
the
when she
2019s
didn't work
or the
there anymore?
1890s, could it?
Yes.
And maybe she worked somewhere else?
Possibly.
Yes.
Did you still maintain your friendship with Sharon?
She
Yes, I
had
did.
a death stare.
During sort of the period of January through May of 2008, how frequently were you talking to Sharon?
What was the dates again?
The last 6
Oh,
months
Lord.
of her life, how often would you say you had talked?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
Maybe
a woman
2,
weighs
3
the same
times
as
a
a dove,
day.
she's a
Okay.
witch.
She
So quite a
swept.
bit.
You're
A lot,
absolutely right.
yes.
Usually by phone?
Picture it, Sicily, 1933
Mhm,
kittens.
yes.
Did
Person
you,
as well.
did you guys go out and do things together
Yes,
socially?
we did.
What types of things did you do with Sharon?
Not legal
We'd go
advice.
shopping. We'd go to the movies. We'd go to lunch.
Okay. Did, because of the time
Thank
frame
you
you're
so much.
giving us, you knew her before she met Thomas Randolph.
Yes.
At some point, you're aware that she met him.
Yes.
And did she, without telling me what she said, but she let you know she was involved in a new relationship?
Yes, she told me.
And were you two still working together at that time?
No, I don't believe so. She was kind of like coming in and out
Okay.
of the shop.
So she could have been working elsewhere.
You know, I really don't remember that, but
Okay. Do you remember discussing?
yes, she was. She was working somewhere else. Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you remember her talking about things that they did as a couple, that sort of thing?
She only said that she had met him, Mr. Randolph, and that they had gone to a concert.
Okay. Did you feel like the relationship was moving fast?
Pretty, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And would that have been based on conversations that you had with her about the relationship?
I suppose, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember ever meeting, or well, do you remember the first time you met Mr. Randolph?
Yes, I do.
Where was it?
It was at the hair shop. It was on a Sunday.
Oh God.
And do you
Oh,
remember
Lord.
the year? Or
Local
I had cream
topic.
It
chicken.
had to have been like 2000.
It was
maybe
raining.
Yeah, right, Donna. She was
2,
like, "Yes, I
4,
do."
5. I
Oh,
don't know.
no.
That-
2004 or 5?
Mhm.
And it was
Did you
at the
say it
hair
was
shop, you
raining
said?
that day? Like she
Okay.
knows.
What were the circumstances?
No, I was just
Why-
joking.
Oh,
Why was he there?
Well, she called me and said, can you come to the shop? And I said, I never went there on Sunday, but she would go there now and again just to do a client that, you know, and I guess she was going to give him a permanent.
Okay.
And she had said that she had met this man, this guy.
Wait a minute.
This
Why
guy,
is she giving a guy
and
a
that
perm?
she wanted me to meet him. I said, oh, I can run by.
I
So
mean,
did
what
you
was it,
go
the
to the hair
90s,
shop?
maybe?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember interacting with him, or how would you describe what happened?
I was in the shop sitting at my station and waiting for her to come, and they walked in. And she sat him down, and then she had already told me a few things about him, like, you know, who he was and all that. And then she went in the back to prepare the rods or whatever she was going to use for his hair. And
Dear
so
Jesus,
I
she was
got
giving
up
him a
and I stood
permanent.
behind
She was giving him a
He's
perm.
sitting in the chair and I'm standing behind
Whose
him. And I
mullet?
said, looking in the mirror, and I said, well, so Tommy, tell me, just to get to know him, right? I
Right.
said, I understand you like the Cowboys
The football team?
football team. And he just kept looking down. He did not ever look at me.
Did he answer?
That's the murder way.
He just said, yeah.
Okay.
He
didn't
said,
want-
Did
"Yeah."
he,
Didn't look at me, didn't look in the mirror,
What
nothing.
was he supposed to do?
I asked him, how was the concert? I believe that's what I asked him. I can't remember really, but he didn't actually answer
okay. So
that
he
I
was
can remember.
not
He was,
engaging.
He dragged him into
not
the hair
engaging
salon
in
and
any
he
conversation
got
with me.
shy.
Yeah.
The relationship, though, continues between Sharon and Tommy.
Yes.
Did you ever express concerns to Sharon about your view of the relationship?
Yes, I did.
On how many occasions do you think you expressed concerns to Sharon?
Probably every time I would talk to her.
Okay, so a number of times.
Yes.
And she kept seeing him.
Yes.
Or maybe he's a
At
shy
some
guy.
point in
I don't
time,
like to talk to
does,
people I don't know.
Does she ask you to go with her
Maybe
to
he
make a
doesn't know
will?
about the foosball.
Yes.
Do you
Maybe his
remember
mama
what
told
year
him
that
it was
was?
the devil.
I cannot remember the year.
Okay. Were you a witness on the will?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, again,
Ms. Wolf, I'm going to show you.
you're not a killer just because you don't want to talk to your wife's stupid friends.
I would love Nick to get a perm.
So here's the
Oh my
front
gosh.
page.
Perm those
There we
glowing
go.
locks.
Do you recognize this?
God, what is
Yeah.
wrong?
Yes.
Why was she
Because
giving
When
him
I
a
was in my
permanent-
20s, I once tried to bleach my hair to be, yeah. But when you have a bit of red in your hair and do that home bleach kit,
Yep.
yellow
Pretty
is a
much
fun
red.
color.
Yeah.
Oh, gold. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah. And no, so that was the last time I did anything of, except, yeah, cutting my hair. I once shaved my head. That was a seriously
So tell
bad
me
idea.
where it was that you
Yeah,
went
I did
to,
that when I was
to get
employed.
this will done?
It's not a good look for me.
Well, I met her in the parking lot of the hair shop,
Okay.
and then I got in her car, and she drove me. I believe it was on Rainbow. It was like a postal service,
Okay.
I believe, and they had a notary there,
Yeah,
and that's what she
all of her
needed. She needed to have
girlfriends
a
did that because
notarized.
he didn't talk about foosball.
Okay. And so this was like a pre-printed document that she got at like one of those post office
All the single
businesses?
friends
Well,
said,
I
"Ooh,
don't
bad
think
guy."
she picked it up there.
Become
I don't know
single
if she
again so we
already
can
had
gossip.
it, but I remember
Yeah.
that we were standing on a table at a stand-up table type, and she was like writing this out.
Okay. And is this her writing? Like she would have filled it all out? I mean, you didn't fill it out for her.
I
yes?
did not fill it out.
Okay.
This is her. This is hers.
Okay. And so there's some property described and some bank accounts described and jewelry.
Yes.
And then she leaves everything to my only child, Colleen Byer.
Yeah.
I
You
think
know
the
Colleen
Gossip
Byer to be
Girls
her daughter.
conspired.
Yes, I do.
Let's frame him.
Yeah,
And
they have
looking
been
at the
sitting around
last
since 2008
page of
and
309,
decided he's guilty.
Pretty much.
It looks like it's 24th of January of 07, and it looks like there's a signature of Alice Wolf
Mm-hmm.
and then Floyd Wolf.
Right.
Who is Floyd Wolf?
My husband.
Okay, so you two witness it and then it's notarized, is that right?
Correct.
Now, did you know what Sharon
Hey, good
had
morning,
written
Farrell.
on, in terms of the directives of this will?
Hello.
Hey, Farrell.
Did I know?
Yeah, did she tell you, look, this is what I'm doing?
Oh, she asked me, does this look right to you? And I said, well.
Yeah,
sure,
that social
yeah.
security
Okay.
number is going to
What
be
did
used
she
again
do
next
with
week.
this after she filled it out and it was notarized?
She
Yeah,
folded it
Deirdre
up,
did
put
it.
it in an
Deirdre-
envelope,
Deirdre
and
did it.
handed it to me.
And what did you do with it?
Well, prior to that, I said, why are you giving it to me? And she said, because if anything happens to me, I want you to give it to Colleen.
Okay, so what did you do with it?
I put it in my bank deposit box at the bank.
Sure,
Alright.
Jen.
Now, at some point, Sharon dies, and what do you do with that document?
I went to the bank, I took it out, and I was working that. I had to work, I think that was I believe it was on a Friday. I don't know if I did it or if my husband, I cannot recall. But I think it was my husband that went and got the letter, the envelope, but I can't really remember.
Okay, did you ever get a phone?
Nick, you have to go.
Yeah, I have to start preparing for my
So
stream.
sad.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
I will be listening in the background.
Don't have
Yeah.
an aneurysm. Please don't have an aneurysm.
Oh, I need to have something to have an aneurysm in before that's a problem.
Fair point, fair point.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for
See you
joining
all
us.
later. Yeah, no worries. Hope. When does this trial supposed to end today?
Well, Sal will be taking over after lunch because this is
Okay.
in Nevada, so it's a 9-hour time difference.
Yeah, so it
Oh.
doesn't end until like 7 my time, but
Yeah.
it's normal time
Oh.
for Sal.
Okay. Yeah. Then I can't really wait for this to end, so I will start some in maybe hour and a half, 2 hours.
I'll be on the
So,
rewatch
yeah.
crew.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, but
Thank you for
yeah,
joining.
thanks.
Yeah.
No worries. Have fun all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Call from Colleen indicating that she had received the document.
I don't remember that,
Okay.
but I didn't hand it to her. My husband took it and left it at the house
Okay.
for her.
And you probably don't, I mean, because it wasn't you, you probably don't remember when that was done in relation
It
to
was
her
like
death.
immediately.
Oh, shortly after her death?
Mhm.
Is that yes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Just prior to her death, did you know whether or not she was out of state, like in Utah?
Yes.
Where were you in Las Vegas at that time?
No, I was in San Diego.
Okay. And do you just happen to have a residence in San Diego?
Yes, I do.
And actually, while we're on that, on occasion, did you let Sharon
San
stay
Diego.
in that residence as like a little vacation?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I'm thinking about Anchorman
After
and what he said San
Sharon was
Diego means.
killed, do you remember if you ever spoke to Mr. Randolph?
Yes, I did.
How soon after her death?
I believe she was murdered on a Thursday night. Friday morning. No, wait a minute. I think it was a Wednesday. And then I was returning back from San Diego. So it had to have been like a Thursday. I get a phone call Thursday afternoon, and it was Tommy.
And what did he tell you?
Tommy.
He said, something happened to Sharon. I believe that's what he said. I said, what happened to Sharon? Where is she? And I said, Tommy, what did you do to her? And he said,
This
I didn't do anything to her. He did it. I said, who did it? He said, Mike. But he was very, very calm when he told me this. He was,
Did you know who Mike was?
yes, I did.
You knew, and what was your understanding as to who he was?
He was a handyman that he had found as a friend from some convenience store, is what she told me.
Okay. You were aware that Sharon actually was married to Mr. Randolph.
Yes.
Did you attend either wedding?
No.
From talking to Sharon, I now want to focus on the time period of 2008. Was it your impression that during that time period, the marriage was going well, poorly? How would you characterize it right at the end?
Very bad.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right.
This is just gossip.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
All of
How are
them.
you?
Okay.
Because
Could
they
be
have a
better.
mental
Yeah,
connection.
probably not a lot of fun to come here and talk about this
No,
stuff.
it
right?
isn't.
Stop.
Oh, for the love of
doing
goodness.
It's not
don't
fun
start with
because
this,
you
sir.
cared for Sharon very much,
I
right?
loved her. Yes, very much.
I'm very sorry for your loss. She seemed like a lot of fun. Would you agree with that?
Sharon is a big-hearted, loving, fun person. Yes.
Okay. And I didn't know her, but that seems to be what everybody says about her. Knowing her, you'd agree with that assessment of her, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And you know that she married Tommy, right?
Yes, I found out. Yes.
And she didn't actually tell you that at first, right?
No.
Okay. I mean, you would kind of let her know that you didn't approve of Tommy, right?
I certainly did. Yes.
And you didn't like him much, right?
I didn't like him at all.
But she liked him a lot, right?
Good Lord, these women
At
were
the
like
beginning, yes.
savage.
She fell in
Yeah.
love with him, right?
Well, I don't know if that would, I don't know. She would never tell me that she was in love.
She never told you she was.
Is that any of your business?
She never
Yeah,
told you that it was
seriously.
love at first sight for her.
She never
That's it,
mentioned that
Jamie.
to me.
When
no.
we become
But it
old women,
surprised you
we're
that she
telling
told
all of
other
our
people
friends to
that.
get all the
Would
booty.
it
We're
surprise
sending
me?
all of them to Tinder.
God.
I don't know if it would surprise me or not.
She
I
never
just had
told
my own
me.
impression, and
Okay,
I
well,
told
did
her
you have to?
what I thought.
So let's talk about your impression. You told us that
Oh.
the first time you met Tommy was at a Sunday at the beauty shop, right?
Yes.
And she had actually
Well,
brought
he
him
was
in on
getting
the
a
weekend.
perm. Never mind. I retract my statement. He was a bad guy.
The entire time you were real long hair, right?
Yeah.
And they went to rock concerts together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. And you knew they enjoyed that together, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
In fact, Sharon came back after one of these rock concerts and she was just over the moon. She had fallen for Tommy. That's your words, right?
I believe so. The first time, yes.
Okay. This first time you met him, when you were in the shop on a Sunday, Sharon was there and Tommy was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
She was going to do a particular thing to his hair, right?
Correct.
And
This lawyer is pissed off he's getting a perm too.
I've never had a perm, believe it or not. But what I've seen is there's a process where you put rods in the hair and you kind of curl it up and you put it under this apparatus, right?
Yep.
Well, you put the
perms to
solution on and just sit there.
When I was in hair
Okay.
school.
You don't put it under anything.
Before the solution's put on, she actually washes his hair, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Sure.
You knew that Tommy was hard of hearing, right?
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I don't
Did
believe
you
so.
did you know that he wore hearing aids?
I did not know.
Okay, so Sharon didn't tell you he was hard of hearing and wore hearing aids, right?
No.
Did you ever wash anybody's hair in the beauty shop?
Absolutely, yes.
Ever wash anybody's hair that had
This is
hearing aids?
exactly the problem, Donna
Yes.
T.
Ever
And they have
take 'em
been
out
talking
first?
for 15 years how to
Pretty
get them.
normal, right?
Pretty much.
For people that wear hearing aids and take them out to get their hair washed, might be hard for them to hear, right?
If they
took them out.
take them out,
Yes.
well, I guess so. Yeah.
Right.
Depends on your
It's not a
hearing.
trick
know.
question.
You don't
Yeah, so
have
let's
a
say
hearing
you're,
aid if you
hearing
can
at
hear.
a 2 out of 10, just to
Jesus.
work with a hypothetical number. Your hearing aids come out, that's all you can hear.
But again, this is the problem. They don't want to make anything that could
I
make
know, but-
Tommy seem. But you just come off as you're
As-
trying to hide stuff.
Or special needs and you don't understand English
Yeah.
and annoying to mow.
Is this? Is there? What's it called? Grasshopper somewhere?
I think
I thought,
so. But it,
I thought I could hear crickets.
It would be difficult to communicate with someone, right?
I
Yes.
suppose. Yeah.
Did you ever have any of those people in all the times that you took out their hearing aids and washed their hair where you couldn't talk to them because they couldn't hear you?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Not that I can say.
Okay.
Not when I'm right on
you
them.
work at an
on top
old
of 'em.
people shop.
You
and
weren't right
never
on
Would
had-
it
top
strike
of
you
them.
as unusual if someone was embarrassed about their hearing, if they just kind of sat there quietly rather than trying to engage in conversation when they couldn't hear something?
I don't think they'd be embarrassed.
Okay. You wouldn't.
Oh, for the love of
Right?
Cheetos.
No.
Can you accept the fact that maybe other people?
There's a possibility. Yes.
Sure. After that moment, you didn't like Tommy much at all, did you?
I worked in this hair business for a long time, and can pretty much read people when I first meet them.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, another Miss Cleo.
Oh, geez.
And you can call her at her for 1 minute an hour. For $1 a minute, she can read your future in her palm leaves. And if you pay $3 an hour, she can use tea leaves, which give a much more exact reading because she has been a hairdresser, so she knows human nature and can tell the future. This is just BS, and I really hope the jury sees the same, because being a hairdresser doesn't make you instantly know everybody. It's such a stupid argument.
Well, don't you feel like that too? Sometimes you're like, oh, I feel like I can read that person, and you're totally wrong. People do that to me all the time. They'll be like,
Yeah, I thought Søren
"You
was a nice
seem-"
guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's she's the Dr. G of hairdressers. She can instantly tell if you're gonna murder her girlfriend 5 years down the road because she used to cut hair.
I mean, we haven't got to the evidence yet, but the first trial, like, apparently all they had was a lot of testimony like this. That
I
conviction,
mean,
man.
I don't know. I seem
We'll see.
I'm sold. All these old women. I watch Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, nothing can go wrong with this.
Nope, Yamaha biker. That's not going on the screen. But again, he got death from this testimony, and for our good friend Glenn, he's a friend of the show.
Oh yeah.
He had a little more juice because he was allegedly tried to be hired as a hitman before, but he's not allowed in this trial. And now all they have are gossiping Golden Girls who for 15 years has been talking about how much of an asshole this
Oh,
Tommy guy
for the
is.
love
He
of
was
all
their
of the
like star
teachers.
witness. That
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah, some people sniff hair and get visions, and some people touches it. It's all the magic.
Yeah, the thing is if he was going to get a perm for reasons only God can discern, or Satan, and he took off his hearing aids, and he's hard of hearing, and this woman probably went over to yammer to him, he probably wouldn't want to say, "Hey, I'm hard of hearing," or he would have assumed that his girl told, her friends that he's hard of hearing. He might not want to have talked to her, or he didn't want to shout in her face.
We
So,
when I was at the barbecue here in my little homeowners thingy, I was sitting opposite a guy who has not Alzheimer's, the shaking disease,
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, and he has hearing aids, and because he has Parkinson's, he's really slow, so he can't really follow a conversation. So his wife have to go over to him and said, "They ask you about this," and then he's, "Oh yeah, okay," and the first couple of times I met him, I thought, well, he seems like he's maybe riding the short bus because I didn't know he had Parkinson's back then. But he can't follow along in the conversation. And now his wife has noticed it more and more. So she just says, well, they ask you this, honey, and they ask you this. And she turns up his hearing aids when people talk to him because she can't do it himself. So it's just so stupid that if you take your hearing aids out, they can always hear you.
or that no one would be embarrassed that they took it off and he can't hear, and he's not going to say, "Hey, I've taken off my hearing aids because I'm, for some reason, getting a perm." Which really, if we want any evidence that he's a killer, it's
at this
taking a
point, how do you know he's guilty already?
You don't have any evidence so far in this trial that he hired Michael. The defense alleges that Michael knew there was a large sum of money in the house, that the couple would be away from the house, and that's why he broke into the house. They came home early because they had been to dinner and found out they would really like to have some smexy time. Tommy was in the car. The wife walks into the house and is unalived, and afterwards Michael is unalived by Tommy. That's the defense story. We haven't heard any evidence that Michael was hired as a hitman. None of it. They might bring it in, but as we always do when we watch these trials, we have to have a clean slate. I have made 6 black widows on my murder board today. But we still have to see the evidence before we can judge him on the evidence. We can't judge him on a prior trial. And again, I think he's a sleazeball, but I need to see the evidence. It's a big problem. We have been here for almost 1.5 days so far, and the most we have gotten is we didn't really like Tommy. That's all
Yeah.
so far.
Because he didn't say hi to me one time.
Yeah, and
Just
and he called the beauty salon too much.
yeah.
Then the daughter who said she didn't like him and she didn't want him around her mother, she left her children with him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
again,
it's a
it's
little.
been 15 years where they have been thinking he was a bad guy.
Well, now this all came out, and think about how many people are like, "Oh, remember when he did this? Remember when he did that? That was weird," you know. So now
Yeah.
we're at that
They
point.
have a Facebook group where they have been
Of
talking
course
about
they
this
do.
trial. So far, I haven't seen the smoking gun, but I'm afraid he's gonna be. He's been being guilty by biddies.
Pretty much.
Biddies. My
Yeah,
dog.
The dogs are like, true that.
but
When they said biddies, they just go crazy. What, guys?
They're like, we
Yeah.
hate them too.
Yamaha. It's because I'm not as brazen as Sal is. He says a lot of things, and we love Sal. He'll be doing
And I
after.
disliked him very much.
Okay.
I just got a creepy feeling about him.
Right. Precisely my point. From the first time you laid eyes on him, when you tried to talk to him and he didn't
Hey, Mass.
respond to you, you didn't like him, did you?
I just did.
Hi,
No,
Matt.
I think my gut feeling was
It's one feather that turns into
I did
5
not
hens.
care for the man at all.
Okay. You felt that in your
That's
gut.
an
Mhm.
H.C.
Yes.
Anderson
Yes.
Okay.
thing.
In fact, after Sharon died, law enforcement didn't actually contact. I'm over here, man. If you could just look this way.
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh.
And just for the record, I mean, you
The
appear to be
actual
glaring at
crap
Tommy
is going
as you sit
on
here.
here.
You'd agree with that assessment, right?
Yes.
Because you pretty much hate him, don't you?
I wouldn't say that, but I hate him.
Okay, use your word. What is it that you have for him?
I abhor him.
Okay. Going out on a limb here, abhor kind of analogous to hate, right?
That's a strong word, I suppose. Hate.
Oh, good. Oh,
Would you
for
agree
the
that
love
abhor
of
is a
all
strong
that
word,
is.
Not really.
Okay.
Oh, for Cheetos.
Abhor is a really strong word.
After Sharon is killed by Mike Miller, and you find out about that, I want to talk to you about a couple pieces of that history. Tommy actually calls you the very next day, right?
Yes, to tell me that.
And he talks to you in what you described as a calm voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
understand the content
I have a
of
lot
that
of people
call
watching.
is
Thank
Tommy
you all
is
so much
reaching
for showing
out
up.
to Sharon's friend, i.e. you, to tell you she's been killed, right?
No, she did.
I
You
had
did
to
say
ask
she
her
abhorred
what
him.
happened to her.
I thought she
Abhorred,
said
not.
Let me
Yeah.
walk you through it, okay?
Okay.
Not
He reaches out to
abhor,
you.
but-
He dials your number, right?
okay.
It's
And you have
mother-in-law
an
who's a whore.
understanding that it's to tell you something bad has happened to her, right?
Yes.
And he starts that
make
conversation
me
by
giggle
saying,
so
I'm
much.
sorry, Alice, but something has happened to Sharon, right?
No, he didn't say I'm sorry.
Okay, he says, something has happened to Sharon. right?
Exactly.
Okay. And you said, what happened? Put her on the phone. I want to talk to her, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he says, I can't
Probably
do
in that
that.
exact
She's
voice,
been
too.
killed, right?
She's
Yeah.
dead.
Right. That's what he said, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
And your response is, what did you do to her?
Exactly.
And he told you,
She
I
said
didn't
it
do
too.
anything to
Oh
her.
God.
He shot her, right?
He did it, is what he said.
Right. And you knew eventually in that conversation that the he was Mike, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you'd agree with me that Tommy called you to tell you what happened, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
And you were pretty hostile
Just
with
say
him, right?
yes.
Yeah.
For all the
Because you,
Doritos in
yes.
the world.
because you abhorred him, right?
Because I just did not care for the man at all.
Okay.
I couldn't get that at all from you.
Law
You've been
enforcement-
very subtle, ma'am.
Wow.
Oh,
I know.
what happened?
Oh.
For the love of Lemmy.
I don't know what happened because
Well, it sounds like something's going on.
Even the court got tired of her.
I don't
The
know what
camera was
happened to
like-
last.
Her hate boner for the defendant just
Her
killed the
hate boner.
stream.
Reaching out to Sharon's
I'm sorry,
friend,
eggplant. Her
i.e.
hate
you,
eggplant.
to
Her
tell you
abhor hate
you pretty much hate him, don't you? Reaching out to,
eggplant.
right?
She's dead.
Right, that's what he said, correct?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes,
And your response is, what did you do to her?
exactly.
What
And
happened?
he told you, I didn't do anything
Did
to
we just
her.
all smell
He
burnt
shot
toast?
her, right?
Yeah.
He did it, is what he said.
Right. And you knew eventually in that conversation that the he was Mike, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lefty showed
So
up and
you agree
everything
with
went
me
wrong.
that Tommy
It's
called
kind of
you
like a
to
Lefty stream.
tell you what happened, right?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes,
And you were pretty hostile with him, right?
This woman?
Yeah.
Being
Because you,
hostile?
yes,
because you abhorred him, right?
because I just did not care for the man at all.
Okay. Law enforcement.
It's the feed. It's not me. It's not the skip issue. It seems like yeah, they probably went to lunch because something happened. I can't tell you what happened. So
I'm telling you,
we didn't get
her
the end of
abhor
that.
eggplant just done killed the stream.
Yeah, the abhorrent eggplant just killed the stream. I'm sorry. Yeah. But this was I would I
Haven't
wouldn't
had
say
the first break, so maybe it was just a break they took.
no because it's noon in Nevada now. They started late. They started 10:30.
Oh. I don't know.
So
Yeah, they started.
Events that have been described by Sharon.
oh, they have some kind of hearing. Sorry, I'm bringing this back up. Thank you for yelling at me, Jamie. So I would go back and look.
I don't know. I keep forgetting it's PST because I'm like, oh, anyways.
Deputy District Attorney on behalf of the state, we both parties speak in the presence of our jury.
Sure, we do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have heard testimony regarding events that have been described by Sharon Randolph to her friends. Such evidence was introduced as evidence of Sharon Randolph's state of mind. You may consider the evidence to the extent you think it is relevant to Sharon Randolph's state of mind. You may not consider this evidence as evidence of events that occurred or for any other purpose. This applies to witnesses Colleen Byer, Michael Byer, Deidre Marley, Alice Wolf, Antoinette Bean, and Victoria Kimiko. State you may call your next witness.
They will call Elizabeth Labrador.
What's her last name, Mr.?
Labrador,
Okay.
Labadore.
And for the record, there is a stipulation by the defense that she can testify via blue jeans, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Ma'am, can you hear us? Okay, we can't
Oh,
hear
no.
you. I think
Oh,
your microphone
God.
is muted.
Not another one
not.
and on Zoom.
Well, we
Dear
can't hear you.
Lord, save us all.
No, still can't hear you.
Yeah, we can see that you're speaking, but we can't hear you.
She's like, I need to find my grandchild. Oh,
Can
Lord.
someone send an emergency grandchild?
They're like, oh, this is when Mo gets on. This is my worst nightmare. This would happen to a Mo.
How haven't they
Do you
done
have
a
a
dry
microphone
run?
on your computer? Sometimes the camera and the microphone are different, so you may have to log into your computer settings to activate the microphone.
The only
Mo-
other thing I
At
could
least this
suggest
judge
is
is
I
sweet.
could call her and put my phone on speaker because I was
Oh,
able
for
to
the
call
love
her
of
when she was talking.
Cheetos. No.
Mo, have
You're
you
not.
I mean,
have
I-
you
I
woken up
put it on
and
speaker
dreamt
if
about
you could
this?
Listen to it that way through the mic.
That you had been sitting here and Mr. Mo wasn't there
Can we
to
try
help you
it?
with
Yeah,
the
Liz, I'm
stream.
gonna try to call you, okay?
Just have Mr. Hammer.
I mean, this is my worst nightmare, other
Oh,
than
boy.
like showing up on
That's
stream
not happening.
naked.
What
But
testimony does she have that's so important? It better be important for all that.
we hate
Well-
him. We all hate him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, she's older than a boomer.
Liz, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay, perfect. Ma'am, if you could raise your right hand so the clerk can swear you in.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. If you could state and spell your name for the record, please.
Can you state and spell your name for us?
Elizabeth Lavador, ELIZABETHLAVADOUR.
Thank you very much. Liz, do you know someone by the name of Thomas Randolph?
Yes, I do.
Where did you first meet Tom?
Years and years ago, I met him on a dating line.
Okay. Where were you living at that time?
Dating
A
line.
party
Salt Lake
dating
City,
line?
Utah.
Did you start to date him in Utah?
Oh, it's the girlfriend.
Yes.
At some point,
Oh,
did you
Liz.
move
Oh, it's
in
Liz.
with Mr. Randolph?
Yes.
Well, of
Do
course
you continue to live with him, or does something change in the relationship?
We break up and I move out.
While you dated Mr. Randolph, were there ever any discussions about life insurance?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about who brought up the topic of life insurance while you were dating.
Thomas brought up the topic.
Okay, what did he tell you?
He told me that I should get life insurance for protection of my daughter, and that we would make sure she got some money from it too.
Okay. How were you supposed to pay for the life insurance?
He was going to pay for it and take care of it. I just did a blood test.
Okay, so he offered to pay for the whole thing.
Yes.
About how much life insurance were we talking about?
What I remember is $150,000.
Okay. Who was the beneficiary of the policy?
Half for Thomas Randolph and half for my daughter.
So when you heard Mr. Randolph offering to pay for a life insurance policy under your name, how did you feel about that?
I like the idea of giving some comfort to my daughter.
So you were willing to do it under that context, correct?
Correct.
Who handled all the paperwork?
Thomas.
Okay, so what if anything did you have to do to set any of this up?
A nurse came to our house and took a blood test.
After, at some point, do you break up with Mr. Randolph when you were living in Utah?
Yes.
Do you move somewhere else?
Yes, I do.
Where do you move to?
I moved to an apartment in Salt Lake.
All right. Do you ever leave the state of Utah?
Yes, I've moved to California.
During the time
would you
that
do
you
that?
were, you stopped
Isn't taxes
dating
really high in California?
Mr. Randolph, does your relationship stay off, or does it kind of go back on and off? What do you remember?
It always went on and off.
All right. Are you familiar with the name Sharon Randolph?
Yes, I am.
And how did you become familiar with Sharon?
She was a lady Thomas met online when we were in a breakup.
Okay. Do you become aware that Mr. Randolph eventually starts dating Sharon and eventually marries Sharon?
Yes, I am.
Do you continue to have a relationship with Mr. Randolph during the course of him dating her and being married to Sharon?
Yes.
I want to ask you a little bit about contact. While he is married to Sharon, does he ever reach out to you?
Constantly on the phone.
What are we talking about here? What do you mean by that? Constantly?
Several times every day.
Okay. How often during the week would he call?
I don't know, 30, 40 times.
Okay,
He
so
likes to talk on
almost
the phone.
daily. or every couple of days in a week?
Yes.
Good Lord.
Was that
how
a
the hell did he
one-way
have
street, or
time?
did you call him about the same amount? What do you remember about who was calling who?
I did not call him. He called me.
All right. And was your number at the time 805-649-5792?
Just docs her phone number.
Aside from phone calls, were there other ways that he tried to reach out to you or make contact with you?
He would come, visit,
Okay.
get a phone call from Sharon and go back.
All right. So you remember him literally coming to meet you. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. When he would show up, would he talk about what the status of what he hoped to have happen in his relationship with Sharon in relation to you? What was going on there?
He was leaving her every time he showed up.
Okay. Did he show up just in a car, or did he drive in something else sometimes?
There were cars at times and U-Hauls at times with his stuff.
What times of the year would he show up? Do you remember?
All the time, about once a month, holidays.
Did that include Christmas?
Yes.
Did that include Valentine's Day?
Yes.
Did he ever leave you like cards or greeting, like love cards or anything like that?
Greeting cards were constant.
So at some point, how do you feel about this back and forth between him going to Sharon and coming to you? How did you start to feel about it?
I got very tired of it and told him it's not going to work anymore for me. He needs to make a decision.
Okay, so you give him an ultimatum.
Yes.
Around when did this happen? When was this ultimatum given?
I think around the Valentine's Day visit.
Valentine
in
baby of
2008?
India. You have to love
Yes.
to see.
So
I
a couple
love
of months
closed
before Sharon
captions.
passed away.
Yes.
When you gave him that ultimatum of, look, you really just need to decide, what was his response to you?
He said
Give
he
me a
was
few
going to go
months.
out and deal with Sharon so we could be together.
Oof.
No further questions for this witness.
That's not a good one.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning.
I guess it's actually good afternoon at this point.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Question. When Sharon died, did anyone from law enforcement in Las Vegas contact you?
No.
Silly question, but given that no one contacted you, you wouldn't expect there to be a recorded statement that you ever gave to law enforcement, right?
What?
Right.
You talked to Tommy, and you called him Tommy, right?
I did.
Well,
And
he is a
almost
ladies'
everybody
killer.
called you Lizzie, right?
Yes.
Okay. In those conversations with Tommy, did he let you know that he had not kept you a secret from Sharon?
Yes.
And in fact, you've actually talked to Sharon before, right?
Once. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that
Sharon
must have
was
been a
aware of you
comfortable
and you were aware of
phone
Sharon.
call.
Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. You mentioned this incident with life insurance. That was, do you remember the time frame when that life insurance was purchased?
We probably known each other a year and a half.
Okay. What year did you meet?
Not clear on dates.
Okay. So you'd been in a dating relationship for a year and a half, right?
Yeah. Right.
And you had talked about being together forever, right?
Right.
And that's all before Sharon, correct?
Correct.
And you and Tommy would have intense periods of getting along, right?
Yes, we would.
And then you'd have intense periods of not getting along, correct?
Yes, we would.
Okay.
She still likes him.
knowing Tommy like you do, you know he kind of doesn't have a filter, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean by that?
Oh, yeah.
He kind of says what's on his mind, right?
Yeah, a year and a half
And he's
doesn't
not
seem long.
bashful about using, like, for instance, 4-letter words, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. He never hid that from you and tried to act like someone who didn't swear or anything other than what he is, right?
Yes.
Okay. The purchase of life insurance by yourself was before Sharon was in the picture, right?
Right.
And in fact, there was a policy in place for a period of time, correct?
Yes, it was.
And you consented to getting that policy, correct?
Yes, we went to the office together.
Right. I mean, my question's not clear. Tommy didn't make you do that, correct?
Correct.
You guys were talking about being together forever, right?
Right.
And you talked about getting life insurance so that the people you care about could be protected if God forbid something happened to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Super silly question, but you never got killed when you had that life insurance, did you?
No, I didn't.
When you and Tommy
Not my
split up,
knowledge.
that life insurance was let to lapse, right?
I have no idea. I was never a part of it.
Okay. So you haven't continued to pay the premiums, correct?
I never paid a premium.
Right. You haven't continued to pay the premiums after you and Tommy split up, right?
No.
Okay.
Right.
And you knew you were getting that life insurance, correct?
Correct.
You had to provide information on like a health questionnaire, a background about your health and your genetic history and things like that, right?
I'm not sure. I would think so.
You actually provided a blood test, right?
Yes, I did.
And you did that voluntarily, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Of course.
That was a good cross.
Yeah.
How many times have he killed you?
How many times have you died?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Just the never.
Yes, I can.
All right. So you remember when the defense counsel asked you the question about, this life insurance policy maybe was taken out maybe about 1.5 years of you guys dating. Do you remember that kind of at the beginning of Cross?
Yes.
Okay. Just to be clear, you weren't married when he's taking out a life insurance policy, correct?
Never been married. Yes.
Okay. Did you have a lot of boyfriends in your life that took out life insurance policies out on you while dating?
Never.
Okay.
All of them.
Next question is, do you remember when defense counsel asked you, so when you purchased the life insurance policy, the purchase of the life insurance policy by yourself, do you remember that being phrased to you on cross-examination?
Yes, I remember.
Just to be clear, did you ever pay a single dime for the life insurance policy?
No, I did not.
Who is the person that provided every payment of premiums on that life insurance policy?
Tom had the paperwork and made the payments.
You were asked a question on cross-examination. Just to be clear, he never made you do this. Do you remember that question on cross?
Yes, I do.
Whose idea was it to even do this?
It was Thomas's idea.
And what did he say to suggest to you that this would be a good idea?
He said, everybody gets them and your daughter needs protection.
Okay, so he mentioned the fact that you should protect your daughter, correct?
Correct.
Your dog.
But he would get a 50% cut.
Yes.
You were asked a question. Oh, I know this is a silly question. You didn't get killed after your life insurance policy. Do you remember that question?
Yes, I do.
Okay, here's another silly question. You moved out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's his wedding gift. But
No further questions.
but again,
Well,
it's
please ask
just
her if she's dead
Liz,
again.
thank you very much.
Hold on, Mr.
Oh, so
Hammer.
sorry. Oh, I thought he said.
Does any of this like make you guys think differently? I mean, it wouldn't bother me any.
I think
I want
yes,
to get to more of the hard
there?
evidence.
Yeah.
Lizzie?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Hammer was trying to get rid of you before I was done asking you questions. He's got a couple, okay?
Okay.
You never married Thomas Randolph, right?
Correct.
You were engaged to him, however, right?
Yes.
And you had talked about spending the rest of your life with him, correct?
Correct.
And that relationship didn't work out, right?
Right.
At the time you guys broke up, he did have life insurance that he was paying a premium for on you, right?
I don't know. I had no paperwork. I didn't ever see anything.
You were aware that life insurance was purchased, correct?
Purchased, yes.
And you agreed with that, correct?
Correct.
And if Tommy Randolph wanted to keep paying life insurance to profit from something bad to happen to you, he could have done that, right?
Right.
Okay. As far as you know, when you weren't going to spend the rest of your life together, there wasn't life insurance anymore, as far as you know, correct?
I don't know.
Okay. Nothing further.
See, that makes me feel differently too. Because they were engaged. I don't know, like I mean,
So, you remember those questions about you're not sure as to whether or not the premiums existed, correct? After you moved out.
we have heard this 10 times.
Correct.
Okay.
who cares, guys?
So, just to be clear, none of the paperwork came to your house. Is that right?
That's right.
So you're not sure if he continued to pay the premiums.
It's asked and answered.
Okay. There was a lot of talk about, the split up. Just to be clear, you continued to date him on and off.
Oh, for the
during
love
your
of Cheetos,
marriage-
we've gone
during his
over
marriage
this.
to Sharon, is that
Yeah,
right?
this is recross.
Yes.
So
And
you
after
can
Sharon passes away, does he come back to visit you?
Yes, he does.
Does he come back to try to rekindle the relationship,
Well, of
or at
course he
least come back and say, let you know
He
what
doesn't
had
know how to do
happened, but
laundry.
with
Of
the
course he
intention
comes
to
back.
continue?
Yeah.
He came back to tell me what happened.
Okay,
And we
To me,
never
it
got
doesn't
to
seem like
any
he
other
wants to be alone.
conversation.
So.
Oh,
understood.
that's
No further
not good
questions.
for the state.
I missed it. Sorry, I was talking.
When he came and told you what had happened,
They wanted to imply he went back to her for the poo nanny. And they said, well, he came back and told me what had happened. We never got to the other part of the discussion. So it wasn't just, I have to get her out of the way and then we are going back and going together again.
Yeah.
That's probably what the defense will go into now.
in Las Vegas, he was really torn up about it, wasn't he?
I don't know how to weigh that.
He was very distraught, wasn't he?
He was somewhat distraught.
Okay. You remember he didn't come running to you and saying, she's gone, I can be in your life forever, correct?
Correct.
He was very upset that Sharon had been killed, correct?
Sir, you're not going to get her to say he was
Sure,
very
I'll
upset.
answer that.
Okay, I think you just did. You told us he was distraught, didn't you?
Ish.
He was kind of distraught.
Okay.
Yeah. Boom.
Sir, you're not good. Every single woman in his life hates his guts. Okay.
Oh, they have jury questions.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Haven't heard one yet, though.
Yes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take our lunch recess at this time. During this recess, you must not discuss or communicate with anyone, including fellow jurors, in any way regarding.
Right. 8:30 and then pop show. So Bartlett and then Cliff Maw.
I don't think they're coming back, so I can stop this. Well, this was kind of interesting, and a lot of gossip is what I got out
Yes.
of this day. And I've seen a few people that maybe they just stopped by. Um, One Blessed Nana thinks it seems sus to broaching the topic of a life insurance policy. Yeah, well, maybe, but again, if you want to, if she hasn't really had any money and don't have a saving, and he said, well, I can pay for it, so your child would get some money. I'll take half, and your child would get half. We when my ex-wife and I were together, we bought a house, and we had to make life insurance because if one of us went away, the other one should be able to pay out the mortgage. So it's I think it sounds weird, but again, I can see how you can sell it to a loved one, especially
Yeah,
if
I
you're
mean,
thinking it's forever.
yeah, if I could see now, if you just started dating 3 weeks and you're like, hey, would you please sign this? Now, what seems sus a little bit is like, but I get 50%.
Yeah.
So unless you have that written in, somewhere that the daughter actually will get 50% because he is paying the premium, then that's where it gets a little dicey.
And to find out they've been together over a year and they were engaged. I mean, that makes it a lot different.
Yeah. Again, 3 weeks or 1.5 years. It's kind of different in my opinion. But again, everything this guy did was wrong. He was the worst person ever to grace God's green earth because he didn't answer when one of the beaches said, "Do you like them footballs?" And at one point he rowed a boat really fast.
Yeah, just and they were getting urns and planning stuff so that no one had to,
I mean, at what age did you start doing that? People do that all the time. I don't know. It's not always weird. I think it's weird to somebody who doesn't do it, maybe.
Well, yeah, or I mean,
And I
yeah, it's
think
not
they want
something
to
I'd
just
put in
really
my
hammer in
Christmas
this,
letter.
life insurance thing because of the history with this guy. I mean, that's where they can hit him the hardest, I think.
Yeah, because it would look we can see it in the chat. Some people think it's okay. Some people think it's weird. And whoever owns the policy controls it. We haven't heard anything about who owns it. We haven't seen any evidence in this case. This witness was the only fact witness we have had so far. That's why the judge had to stipulate that all the first 5 witnesses was just about her state of mind, and her state of mind was all the people around her gossiped about her relationship. Is what I got her state of mind to be.
Lord, the gossip.
Yeah, I know.
Is it odd considering how many previous wives has just up? Well,
2
only
were actual like medical conditions.
sus. Two is still alive. One he's been on trial. Number 1 is alive. Number 2 was shot.
Yeah, 2 was shot, and then the other 2 that died was cancer.
One was cancer, and the other one was
in the hospital.
Yeah, and number 5 is still alive, and number 6 is this one.
Yeah.
So yeah. So again, and as Farrell said, maybe he had a friend who sold life insurances.
Yeah, maybe
he just had a friend that sold Aflac.
Maybe he's gonna cut.
You never know. Again, both of them have been shot by intruders.
No, the first one I think they ruled a suicide, but I don't know.
Yeah, they tried to pin the murder on him, but couldn't, and that's a problem because they brought that into this trial the first time around, and that's why it was struck down. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like he has a friend who sells stuff. So, and Farrell has life insurance on all of us.
She does.
And it wasn't the first wife who was shot; it was the second wife.
Yeah.
The first
I
wife
need
is
to make a chart.
her talk.
Yeah. You need a murder board for this.
I know. Well, I need to erase the Austin, and then I know on Wednesday we've got the Austin Ford hearing to see if they're gonna triple try him.
They better just cut it out.
It's just so
Yeah.
it's so bad that you can just keep on trying a guy. That should be some kind of double jeopardy. But I have all the small spiders behind me, and I have to figure out which one
my
died
God.
naturally, which one died with a little
You
bit of
just need to
help.
put one upside down and just label them 1, 2, 3, and then we'll know right on.
Yeah. Right, cancer on one of them, gunshot on the other one. So yeah, and again, but it's not a crime to be a sleazy guy. It's a crime to do illegal things. But to do an illegal
Yes.
thing, you have to prove he did an illegal thing, and that's my biggest problem. That we have went through the daughter's husband, Deidre, the other
Other
friend,
Yeah.
the one we saw today, and now the ex-girlfriend. And all we had was, he took out life insurances, but it was to help with the family. Yeah, you can say all of that, but is it true or not? She made a will and testament that took everything away from him. Is that weird?
Yeah.
That everything should go to her daughter? If they were living together,
If they were
shouldn't she?
married, living together, shouldn't he get this? Shouldn't he be? Yeah. So, I mean,
It's just because he's on trial, we see everything as kind of weird. But everyone, go grab something to eat. It's Jamie and Mo. It's 3 o'clock your time or something like that.
Yes.
yeah.
Go and grab a cup of coffee, and then follow the link I have put in top of the chat, and go watch Sal. He will do the afternoon. Sal, I won't be jumping on because it's 9:30 here right now, so I'll be in chat and sending you all the happy thoughts and life insurance policies. You
Sounds
need.
good.
And we'll pick it up again tomorrow. Hopefully, Sal, 4:30. So in an hour, Sal will go live. Yeah. No,
Sounds
needless.
great.
Teens should never hear about these bingo ladies' rowdy sex life. That's not. Yeah.
That's their
But then,
problem.
yeah,
None
like,
of them
why
were
didn't
getting
he?
any.
Why didn't he like take out the girlfriend? I mean, if that's like his MO,
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
life insurance policy and then take her on a boating trip.
yeah. She was. Yeah. Allegedly, she was preparing to divorce him, and we don't know when the will was changed. We haven't heard it so far.
Mhm.
And everyone, you have an hour to go to Fedorowski's channel.
Yes.
Just put his name in the search bar and watch a little bit of the beautiful Norwegian culture, landscape, and stuff like that. Featuring Byrkjeldalstunet, an olden times farm rebuilt into a candle maker, motel, restaurant, and tourist center. I'll have to go
Ooh.
watch that one.
Nice.
You had me at candles.
Yeah. I love candles.
Who should get what when you die depends on who is financially dependent on you. I don't think it's necessarily weird that she lives. No, I'm not saying it's weird, but you can turn it around and say, well, she changed the will. She made a will that kept him out of it, and they were living together, and they were married. That could be seen if he had died. You would think that was weird.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just we're always trying to. I try to balance things. So yeah.
Yeah, because you can twist the facts however you want them to look.
Yeah, and everyone looks bad on the stand.
Yes.
So, but everyone, in exactly 88 minutes, Salbert will be going live. If you follow the link on top of the chat, and Salbert, if you would be so nice, So nice to send me the start time for tomorrow so I can set up a new stream. And ladies, I hope you might have an opportunity to join me again tomorrow. And everyone in chat, please, I have to grift. Please like and subscribe. That's the grifting I do. There's one who's a lot better at grifting than I am.
Hey guys, it's Mo from Mo in the Deep End. I do crime, court, current events, and chaos. So we did the Bill Zelensky sentencing. He got life with 35 years before possibility of parole. Well, back in the past. And then we will be probably going forward with Karen Reed, and I will be looking at the paperwork there and other stuff, this trial and other things. So I will see you there, and I'll be doing all the other things here. And I still have to go see the Barbie movie that you guys want me to see and do a drunken rant on that. So, you know.
Hi. Jamie, I'm just hanging out. I'll be hanging out with Sal later too. So that's all I'm doing.
Yeah, and please, if you can and like to contribute a little bit, I'm sure one of my mods have the Jamie's links for her Cash App. I'm not asking for anything for myself. I'm just happy that you want to show up and spend some time with me. But if you like to contribute in a way, Jamie has a Cash App that maybe some of my I have Farrell here. She's a mod. I can't see any other mods. Maybe you can help her get the luscious lashes on point.
Oh my god.
Well, then I have to play it because it's in the end of this one. So at least we can do that one. Now everyone is. Why is Farrell a mod? She's not doing her job.
Cutter. Kitty.
So SJ Briggs 619, just like Rey Mysterio, and of course, the second I say it, Iris is on point. Farrell really has to step up her game. So I'll think we'll just have this.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has. Everybody has.
The judge is like, the hell did you just?
Isn't it funny that I laugh at myself every time I hear that?
I'm always so tickled that the judge is again like, excuse me, I'm just making sure.
What'd
Did
you
you
say? And then
did you
she
just
says,
call your mother-in-law a super whore?
I know. And then remind yourself to look and watch when he walks back to the other lawyer, because the like younger lawyer, he's just kind of laughing, and I'm like, oh my god.
I watched a 7-minute video that I think it was C-Swift clipped together, and I just laughed of me laughing. So, but everyone, this has been a day where I thought I would have an aneurysm, but luckily it didn't happen. So I can be back again tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see all of you again tomorrow. Show some love to Mo, show some love to Jamie, and especially show some love to Sal because he's picking up when I go to bed.
Gotta
So
love
see you all later.